and then disregard puts a lot of us at danger.
It's true though.
Right.
Like.
So,
Yeah.
Where's the music?
Yeah, the best part about that is when it's funny for one of them says like all the words, like all words in a row.
Yeah.
All right, so welcome everyone, and we are back into the Legacy of Fire for your 4th day in the city of Kelmerane. We're at a diminished group today just because of the hour of data we decided to play. Just because of the time of day that we decided to play due to scheduling and all this stuff. And this will also this is your last live session with Aaron and Biako until he returns, or we Skype him in the future.
Oh my god!
Awesome. And we have
Wait, there's a donut on the table for you.
Where
Coffee.
anywhere you want. Anywhere you want.
I need to use the restroom before we go.
I don't like contact.
Yeah.
Okay.
She really needs to go.
Yeah.
That was all on camera. Essentially, we are back into the city of Katapesh. I think I accidentally said Kelmerane earlier. Yeah, we're back into the city of Katapesh for the 4th day within the city, midweek during the Kianivi festival, which has been somewhat overlooked by the party because of their own goals and such, seeking information and trying to establish themselves in a foothold within this society that they're not quite accustomed to yet. In our last 8-hour session, we lost one of our party members lost their lives in a epic battle against a number of undead creatures, only to strike a deal with what seems to be an undead dwarven denizen of the haunted platinum mine of Travis and Truthers Mining and Excavation Company. The party, upon her death, struck a deal that they would bring the subjects of this revenant's ire to the cave in return for safe egress. Upon returning to the city itself, you all decided to skip any other formalities and go straight to Travis and Truthers to claim your reward for quote-unquote clearing out the den of monsters. With some trick words from Biako themselves and a very, very lucky natural 20 in deception and a natural 1 in sense motive on the behalf of the dwarves. They agreed that they would pay you, and should there be an issue, come find you upon their return to town. So they sent you on your way with a 5,000 gold diamond, and you all summarily went to the Immaculate Repository to resurrect Ranwin the Jonin, your half-orc druid who died in the midst of battle. The ritual went off.
We each get 1.
Yeah, the ritual went off without a hitch, you could say. There were some words said and offerings made, not all of which were successful in their efforts to try to coerce Branwen's return to the world. But it was successful enough that her soul was restored to her body, albeit at a more diminished capacity.
It's gonna be another 1,000.
Oh, that's right.
So,
If you go into Joy Jazz for some time, you just have lost the soul.
with that, the night came to an end and everyone split off, trying to do their own things before realizing that it is late. It was midnight in game and also midnight out of game.
But fuck that, I stayed up.
Yeah, and we're doing that today. So we're gonna jump right back in. Chandra's car, Michael, is going to join us in a bit. So let's see where we go with this.
That's right.
Any-
We need extra gold to get rid of the No, we not for the.
Okay, so wait, it was 1,000 gold diamond, and then another 1,000 on top of that.
Apparently not.
That's what we needed for each, like, for the lycanthropy?
So there's no diamond involved for those. The service fee to cure curses and that such would be about 1,000 gold to try to remove all curses.
Well, thank God.
Essentially,
Thank God they didn't charge us for resurrection.
If we're going to give Brown with
who didn't charge you for resurrection?
At the negative levels, it's possibly going to cost like an
Yeah, but I don't know.
Oh, that was like
Yeah.
$5,000 for Theo's.
It was $5,000.
Yeah.
Something.
But wasn't the
Right.
negative level removed? But wasn't the negative level
Really?
removed when the?
No, it's a
No.
500 gold.
Okay, I
that
was
was
going to
like
like,
four-
how
$5,000.
much money did you have like on you from that huge freaking thing that you stole at like the beginning of the
You're running
campaign?
low, aren't
At
you?
home, I have about 3,000 gold.
She didn't bring all her cash.
Yeah, no,
No, I
I'm,
didn't
I'm
bring-
thinking it could have been easier to like bring all
Just
that and
go
just pay for
home.
the horses.
And then
Oh wow.
I still have
300.
something in my profile.
I've earned 52 gold and
We
8
have a
silver.
grand in the party loot, not counting the 10K we're about to get. So we got about 11K to burn.
And I think
Keep in mind-
I would
Not
prefer.
literally.
Well,
I'll explain it as Theo.
Keep in mind.
wasn't your negative level
I was gonna
comes
later.
first.
Me and
Wait,
my
what happened?
body will make more money.
No, it's
You make the money.
Nothing. That's just the whole reason why we're here. I think it might be superfluous if we're actually able to have the 10,000 gold and just pay for the horses that we're in a life debt for.
Also that.
Yeah,
Which
or we
It's
still,
something nobody quite explained to Theo, so I can't. Say.
or we prove ourselves. Still,
We
we'll be
can
How
still prove
much
ourselves. We
for
got
the horses?
Yeah,
But
five-
why
5K
be in
apiece.
the debt of some asshole though? Like, I'd rather just pay and be over with it.
that's true.
And I have nothing to do
I
with
don't
it.
know where the port.
That's true.
I mean, you guys keep calling him an asshole. He wasn't a complete dick to you guys in the end.
No.
No,
He was like.
he's just a businessman trying to make sure his business.
He's also
he's trying to get off the ground.
Yeah, he's trying to carefully leave the very, very firm stronghold of an angry boss. Because if he wrongs him,
I mean, you
he's
guys still
fucked.
haven't met that angry boss. That angry boss is in this town.
Oh,
Not
killed
killing
him,
problem
solved.
solved.
Oh, that's gonna go well.
yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, the
The guy-
guildmaster of the Imperial Union of Breeders.
The guy who
Yeah, they'll love
lowjacks
us.
the guy who lowjacks his $5,000 a piece horses. Let's kill him.
Sorry, let me look up his
Really?
the elected guildmaster of the Imperial Union of Breeders.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Brock?
Do we really want to pick from?
The Catapish is home to the greatest stock of horses, camels, ponies, and mules in the inner sea region.
Wow.
The breeders of these fine animals all belong to this elite organization, and their opinion of themselves is a source of amusement throughout all of Catapish. I mean, they're haughty by very conservative terms.
Mm.
So, but with that, we dive back into the game, and you all can discuss this in game, if anything.
I
But
remember.
let me flip over to my notes for today.
Did anybody explain the situation to Theo?
Yeah,
Didn't we-
we told you
Yes,
we told you the deal that we're in, and we told you how much the horses cost. So I'm sure
Okay,
you
yeah,
can
I'd
put
be
two
able
and
to
two
put it
together.
together.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I need to know.
So,
I don't think she.
That was around the time that we had to give away the mansion, and then
And then we've got.
he made us
princess.
give it back.
Yeah. Well, the princess was like, no.
Well, no.
So,
Yeah.
No, there was a princess.
all right,
There was a princess.
guys, let's. You guys can have all this time to talk either online or in game. So, after the events of last night, the dawn breaks, and 0Z6, and who we start off with? Right, my dice. Here goes.
Twinsies.
1.
Natural one.
Yomi,
What?
you awaken as the light crests into your room. Ben is not here. He did not seem to come back from wherever he went to the night before.
Okay.
You awaken, you know that typically the morning comes and the messenger would be sent out to send your missive to Jiraz Nazir. You probably have till midday
Okay.
Your new sugar daddy.
to do what you need. So, what do you want to do?
First thing I'm gonna do is alter self myself, or basically transform into my human form. That's gonna be a 32.
All right, 32. Good.
After that, I am gonna take the blue Kisune gem the blue and the yellow Kisune gem with me, and I'm gonna see if Dark Sense awake.
You head over to the dwarves' rooms. As you walk over, you see that Theo's and Brand's room is still closed, doors still locked. Chandra's room seems untouched. Oh, Chandra was.
He got a new room, and I bunked with him.
Oh, you bunked with him
last night.
The last night.
Because I tried to cut his throat.
Bastard.
And you head over to the dwarven room as you hear
It wasn't. It wasn't.
a bit of clinking. And Tordek, did you wake up early or did you sleep in?
Probably.
How badly damaged were you in the last fight?
I-
That couldn't have
Not
been
at
well.
all.
Yeah, I don't think I got
Yeah.
the ornament. I only
Lots of
got.
sleep on.
No, I only got hit by the rocks.
Yeah, so you
So
don't
I
have
probably
a
would
lot
have
to sleep on.
gone up like
Stroking his phantom beard.
yes, fancy beard. But I probably would have gone probably up early, like I guess
Early morning.
usual, like more like the usual time. Like,
So you
because you like have some sort of a routine if possible.
you hear a knock on your door. You've kind of gotten dressed a bit. Not full armor, but at least up to your robes.
Okay.
Wakey,
You
wakey,
is,
eggs and bakey.
Yeah, it's not here. A minute. Go
You
over
hear
and
a
then-
click of a weapon, and turn up. You hear Dr. Sushins kind of stumbling, but like, shut up! And shoots his gun out of the door. As you hear something hits the door really hard.
What the fuck?
Tell him to shut up. I'm trying to sleep.
Look, he hit the metal. Holy shit.
Oh my goodness! I'll just go over to the door, I'm gonna take the bolt off the rock.
You take the pellet out, like it's about a good half inch in the little door, and just pull it out of the splintered wood. You open the door, and you see Tordek and a small broken piece of door. And
Yeah. There's been sleep shooting again. Again.
It's
I
canon
first
now,
time I've
guys.
heard this. It's a case. He's very paranoid, I guess. I don't know. He's must be dreaming.
you see Durson kind of kicks in his sleep, and he turns over, and you see he's wiping down his pistol.
See, he even sleeps with the game. So, what do you need?
I need to go into town and get a new weapon. I need someone to come with. I don't know anywhere. I don't know where it is. And he didn't mention that it was like. He didn't mention that he found something.
Found something. I mean, I know there's some. I don't know if I've heard from but there was probably some weird guy didn't really. They just didn't really. He didn't tell us at all.
No, most of you just said, "Come into my restaurant."
Yeah. I mean, I'll go with you to help find some place, but I don't know where one.
Ooh, okay.
Be.
Let's go. I grab them and
I'm just dropping. I'm leaving the bullet behind.
So you drag him out, Yucko. You have returned back to the Sand Dragon Inn, and you hear a large goosh in the rooms, about 2 rooms down from you. Very familiar sound, almost as if that dwarf with the metal legs. Weapon has been discharged.
Oh, yeah, that was the sound that blinded me a couple times.
I remember that. My eyes remember that. As you drop down from the ceiling. What do you want to do?
We'll head towards
the sound.
As you hear the sound, you step out and you see Tordek is locking his door. As Yomi is waiting, and you see the kind of Volpine-esque companion that you had traveled with, as well as the one with legs.
Hey, you have legs.
Okay. Yes, I do have legs. So do both of you. So how'd you sleep?
So take a walk.
Hey!
Good. I slept well.
All
that.
Give me a will save.
Why?
I also just remembered what Bianca reminded me of.
Was it?
The image of the dwarf's taints from the night before just burned into your mind. Like, first giant fuzzy cat, and then giant fuzzy small sack things.
Giant
It looked like a litter of hogs just
like
in the mud. Sorry, Josie's eating.
She's just too enamored by the dark.
She slept well, but that flash, bang, noise, memories, job, everything from the last day just flashed in your mind.
PTSD.
You're already regretting this vacation.
Bianca's whiskers just.
So good. You okay?
Yeah.
Perfect use of my paid time off.
Hey, we're gonna go look for some weaponsmith. You wanna come?
Yeah.
Just twitching. So cool. You guys just band up together and head downstairs. You do notice as you come downstairs, you see. So that's 1d4. Wrong bag. Those are my d20s. I won't need those for a while. Sorry about those kids.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel amazing.
You see
Best day ever, right?
that there is a group of very large cats. About 4 of them sitting at one of the booths, and they're all just squished in there. And you see
actual cats are like
cat people.
Oh.
Cat people.
Yeah. I was just imagining like the little the spaghetti cat.
Those are the green ones with 3 eyes.
You see one that's just like pure white in fur, but wears these large ornate robes that kind of puff out a bit. And its eyes, like it's so fat, its eyes just look constantly closed.
Oh.
And it's just there, and you see they all kind of like are turning towards each other, but you don't hear talking, but you see minor lip movements.
Hey, isn't that like your people?
What do you mean? Wow. What do you mean? Please don't not say it out loud.
I mean, yeah. That's my species.
They don't look the same as Bianca though. These ones seem more
animalistic.
No, less of a wildcat, more of an actual like pampered cat.
Oh my god!
But you see, one of them has like a turban up. One of them has this kind of golden netting of jewelry that comes down on its head. All of them have like that closed eyes, kind of serene look as they're just sitting there, and you see in front of each of them there's a cup of water as well as very modest food. Yeah, like every once in a while, one would just pick.
How do they drink? Do they like lap it?
Pick it up, and there's like no. It's they pat, and then just bring it up to the mouth and just lick, lick.
Other cultures are so interesting.
It's a Theo from
He's like,
I am sleeping.
Saren Ray is just sending you messages.
Keep me updated.
Sarah like sending her video.
I'm getting Snapchatted from the beyond.
There's an oddly tan woman in the corner just going,
This is crazy.
On fire.
Yeah.
So, what do you three want to do?
What do you want to do?
You recognize one of them. Biako is one of them seems to be the one from the one in the bath from last night. It's almost like this exact same image of him asleep in the bathtub is him sitting in the booth, like arms kind of splayed out.
he's very zen.
Oh, no.
Let's go talk to them.
Okay.
As you three walk up towards them, you see a Zephyr Regard kind of stands that's standing nearby and walks over. It's like, yes, please. Do you have any business with the Bastille?
No, not really. We just want to say hello. We never seen another cat folk other than him here.
Ah, yes. Well, these are part of the entourage of tribes coming into the town. They do not talk much. I don't know exactly what they do. They kind of lean into. They just sit there purring at each other all day. So, you can talk to them, but to be honest, I don't know if they talk.
What does purring mean? Depends.
Yeah, it does. So the bird and it's all context.
And as you guys get closer, you do hear like coming from one, and you see them.
Do you still want to talk to them?
I mean,
You could try.
they seem like they're preoccupied.
You hear this, and you as you hear them saying this, you guys just hear purrs and meows, but you kind of hear like a very familiar language to your own, but like still kind of cryptic in its own way. It's like, oh, like has the fish shipment come in? It's like, no, not yet, but we're getting it ready. But yeah, probably after tomorrow's nap. Yeah, tonight's nap is gonna take a long time too. But when's your nap scheduled? It's like I think the same time as your nap.
The language does not include the word sleep.
So the synchronized nap schedule.
Yeah. So they seem to be talking about like business schedules around the nap schedule. That just
They're like hobbits, but instead of meals, it's naps.
yeah.
That's so cute.
Oh my dad.
my
would love
God.
them.
And yeah, you just hear this going back and forth, like a lot of just business talk.
On second thought, let's go do what you were getting to.
Let's do your thing.
My
You
thing's
sure?
weird.
They
They're very friendly.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll come back around if they're still there.
And you notice like they're all like patting their drinks at different times. And at one point, all four of them pat their drinks at the same time and do the lick motion at the same time. But it's like that how it synchronizes once in every like 50 cycles. Like then it goes off cycle again.
What did you call them? I'm gonna write it.
They're the Ba'asti tribe. B-A''ASTI.
So you're gonna call them the cat clique.
The cat cult.
I mean, I don't know their religious affiliations. I'm not one to judge.
Weber's
I'm going to
Angels.
anyways.
Schrodinger's cats.
Oh god.
Are they dead or alive? I don't know.
We don't know.
The Aristocats.
I like that too. That's a better name. I like his. I'm changing mine to his.
All right.
This was a better name.
So you three head out. After that, let's do that 1d6 again. I need to really find a place to splay out my dice. I hate having them in their bags.
You can fill this space while we're
They look so
Yeah.
fluffy.
Radwin. The sound of crickets kind of fade away through the night as you lull yourself to sleep with eggs kind of nestled up next to you, and you kind of are able to now kind of lean into him for a little bit more stability, but he's still like pillow size when he huddles up. You awaken to the. Give me a perception check. And remember, you're taking -2 to this.
What?
Because she died.
Because she died.
Right.
Oh man.
And unlike you guys, when she came
Death
back, she
ruins
doesn't
everything.
get all of her things back.
Jealous?
Yeah, I am.
I think it's -1 or -2.
That was mine.
Doesn't
It was
It's
one
minus
for
one.
everything.
Oh,
-1.
Yeah.
And then
No, wait, actually, raise that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If she,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, it was. A
Well, it's
different
-1 per level negative. So it's not. I was wondering if it's -1 or -2 per negative
I
level.
thought it was.
She has 2 negative levels right now.
So it's -2 for her.
Ooh.
So
19.
19. Good.
Ooh, still high.
It's because my put like everything.
Your fatigue took you down
Someone has
pretty much into like a dead coma through the night, but the warmth of daylight shines down onto your face and you feel yourself stirring, and it's like coming out of the darkness. You can't ignore the heat and the light of the day anymore. And all of a sudden you hear the crackling of flame near you and the smell of meat roasting.
Someone is
Wait, who's cooking eggs?
Well, I mean, you did start the campaign saying "wakey, wakey, eggs." And
Oh, yeah.
You hear a voice speaking in Kaleshian that's very familiar. It sounds like Citrus. And then you hear another kind of gruffer voice responding back.
I want to peek through my eyelashes and see if I can see who the other dude is.
You kind of open up one eye as you do this.
Just like my character, I have no strength.
All right, so they don't seem to notice you as you kind of peek open one eye, and you notice Citrus is sitting down, squatting by the flame, and you see he has 2 fish kind of roasting on the fire, and a kind of strip of kind of dark meat that seems to be roasting and slightly seasoned. That's kind of filling your nostrils.
Is Egg still next to me?
Yeah, eggs is. You see, eggs is like and kind of cocking its head and not wanting to move away from you, but like eyeing the food. Like as soon as your head lifts up, he might just swoop down. And you see Citrus kind of poking the fire, and he's talking very calmly, but the darker voice you hear, "Kurotan, Hirokun-san, Aesula." As you look up, you see the half orc that you had encountered earlier the day before, or 2 days before? 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Outside of Citrus's house. Just seeming to be arguing with Citrus.
Love
Oh.
Huh?
They fight for your
I
affections.
don't have detect language right now. So is there enough meat to share?
That could be so
good.
Oh
my
God.
I didn't mean to learn
You
that.
woke up to a bad porn.
Oh god.
Oh man.
I'm glad this is recorded.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
No,
No, you're
don't
not.
be sorry.
No, you're not, and also don't be.
Don't be.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm so glad you're here.
Sorry, Louis. You say that, and you see Citrus kind of smirks and starts like kind of chuckling into his hand as the orc kind of stares daggers over you. You see like a small bandage on the back of his head, and you can see that he's received some type of punishment.
Is he still on guard?
No, he is not in guard uniform. You see that their guard uniforms are very close by. I mean, Citrus is always half in guard uniform, but like this half orc like is kind of dressed up to like the waist in armor, but the actual shirt and the helm is off to the side. He's wearing a very simple tunic right now. And you say this, and he looks over at you, and he kind of looks down at Sidrus and kind of gives a and turns away and walks over to his shirt and like starts arming himself up and like putting a scabbard on. And Sidrus looks at you and is like, actually, this is all for you. We have already eaten. It is late for a Zephyr guard to be awake. But it seems that your companion, and he kind of points to eggs, and you say, just eyeing the meat. And he's like, your companion seems to be a bit hungry. I don't know if there's enough meat for both of you.
Oh my god.
Bestiality.
Give me one of those. One of his
That's
No matter what the reply is, it's just gonna go deeper into like a bad porno dialogue.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying
Joking.
eggs and
There's enough meat for both of us. We can share.
We're gonna get to green eggs and ham eventually.
So he's just staring at you as he kind of picks up like the skewers and walks them over to you from across the campfire. Your concussion. Your concussion comes through.
Don't say anything sexy. Don't say anything
Yeah.
sexy.
Stupid sexy Flanders.
He is wearing nothing at all.
Who's he?
Oh, him. That is just. His name is Utkar. He is one of the members of the Zephyr Guard with me. But don't let anyone know that I told you his name. Supposedly there's something about secrecies and identities.
Yeah, what's with the Zephyr Guard? No names, no identities.
We protect the city from anything, really. But more so it is to protect our superiors. The ones who carry their medallions. The totems to control the golems around the town. They actually have a name.
Can you repeat the half horse name?
Utkar.
Yeah.
Utkar. Let's see now. The Zephyr Guard.
It's a upright body.
Upright body?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it looked like a vulture.
Aren't they upright? And then has the neck coming out?
Are you thinking they're like kind of
Yeah, vultures are upright. Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially, all of the commanders up to the High Commander have secret identities, except for High Commander Osafa Arquez, the leader of the Second Guard. But when we walk around the town with such magics, when they go off duty, they take these with them. So, they are obviously in danger if people know where they live, who they are. But
not everyone is commanding.
no. But the pact masters like to keep their secrets, especially with their pets. So, I'm not quite sure. But I don't like to hide myself. You see, kind of like scoots down, and you obviously see that he doesn't like to cover up any piece of skin if he doesn't have to.
Oh god.
If he could wear a mansling, he would wear a mansling around town.
He would buy the outfit that
The mankini.
yeah.
The
that-
yeah. Essentially, yes. The minimalist. Hell, you might even think that was made for him.
Might have been.
But he kind of look down and see his
What did
Like-
you look down and see from him?
His sausage. It's on top of the end of his prong.
his uniform is lying close by. It would seem that he does have to report to some type of authority above him, and he does have to show some sort of respect. But whenever he can flout the rules, he will. He hands you one of the skewers, fish or meat, whichever you choose.
I take the.
I think you've already tried the meat. How about
I'm gonna take the meat and feed it to eggs.
So you can take the meat. It's like a strip of beef that has been like slightly seasoned, and you get it to eggs, and you see eggs like pulls and like yanks. Oh God, what's going on?
You're pulling me.
Well,
God damn it.
he's distracted.
No, oh,
All right.
We're talking about eggs.
All right, guys, focus,
Yeah,
please. Egg starts ripping the flesh of the meat off the skewer as he eats, and Citrus hands you one of the fish skewers and sticks the other one into the stand next to you, so that's close by. So, what is your next plan? I might ask. You come in and out of the city. You come back looking and reeking of death.
Quite literally this time. Didn't really have a good experience in this last dungeon we went to.
I don't know.
It was just a bad experience.
That is the most confidence I've seen from Branwen. Well, I used to say, well, I thought
You hear from Utkar, and as he turns back, like, can't you tell Citrus? She died. You can smell it on her.
Damn.
As he kind of turns towards you.
Wow.
You bring a lot of trouble to me. Honestly, this is the first time Citrus has shown himself to a woman after the first night. You could bring more trouble to him, too. How long will you be in town?
Oh my god.
Sorry,
We're gonna get married.
Time to
God.
Settle down.
Fuck you.
I totally forgot what I was thinking.
how long are we going to be in town?
How much meat did you sell?
Sorry, I
And that's lifetime.
It's when Citrus is around, she can't think.
For your information, we'll be gone by the end of the week. But it's not my problem that your city is so secretive and restrictive.
It is your problem when you do not know your race's standing in society, child.
Damn.
I've seen you walking about the streets. I've seen you entering into the building of the dwarfs. That could not have been pleasant for you. Never is when they are around. So, know your place. We are good for beast of burden. I have risen myself into this position after years of seeing my own people tormented, of turning in the scum of the earth. So, do not cause trouble in my city. As you see, he kind of sneers at you. He looks over at Citrus. I'm returning to the watch. I expect you to be back soon. As he walks off. Citrus just has like a stick and it's just like drawing in the sand. Like one circle, two
They're
Circle, circle,
Dot,
dot,
dot. Nose.
I really thought it was gonna be a penis.
I like how we all went in a different direction.
It could just be eyeballs.
yeah,
Yeah.
it ended up being a face, but like I feel like they're right on the boobs.
And he just like continues drawing as he kind of like picks up another like a fallen piece of meat on the stick, like just holds it over to eggs, and eggs kind of seeing the strange meat stick. Like he's trying to feed it. And he's like,
You're doing it wrong. I took it from him and feed it to eggs.
as you pick up the stick, Egg kind of like looks at it as you kind of dangle it in front of him like you're baiting. Egg sees like.
Yeah. Okay.
I was
Pat him on the back.
Yeah.
Choking on the stick.
He flaps and like goes up into the sky, circles around the oasis for a little bit before landing on top of one of the trees and just looks down, looks around.
Turn to Citrus. So, is
Utkar?
Utkar gonna cause trouble?
I don't believe so. If anything, he holds a higher position than me in the rankings. He has been part of the guards longer. So he just doesn't want me to cause him trouble. He is a good friend. He has taken care of me for a long time. But he has been wary of you since you found me. And especially because of the trouble you caused him outside of my home.
Oh, I understand he's in a... This isn't really the nicest city for our kind.
From where I have been and what I have been told, many cities are not the nicest city to your kind.
Yeah.
I learned to laugh at my pain.
I have thought you're the entire privilege round, like not where I come from.
True.
My dad's a mayor.
Oh.
That would be such a dick thing to say. Well, back where I come from.
My dad.
If it's an issue of me being around you, I'll not contact you anymore.
Give me a sense motor check when you say that.
Oh no!
-2.
So
Negative
negative 1. You never get
Negative-
2.
Nothing at all.
Negative. Or does it go to 0 or straight to 1?
What's the width through modifiers?
Since what of?
The dude must have
6.
Huh?
6.
6? You see, he kind of scratches out the drawing a bit. I mean, you could. Or just live like me and don't give a fuck. The guards here, the system everywhere, it is unnecessary to have to listen to them tell you how to live your life and have fun. But as you say, you're not from around here. Who knows? Perhaps we can have a couple more nights of fun. And perhaps we'll see. As he just kind of scratches, as he scratched out that drawing, he starts drawing again. Circle 1, circle 2, dot, dot.
Oval.
Yeah. Rocket ship,
It's an elephant.
Rocket ship.
mustache.
Shit.
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds is going to space.
Can I ask you a question that might, I don't know, about your magic?
What about?
How do you know, I guess, sorry. I just came off opening night. It's
I know. It's okay.
In this last fight with my friends, I tried to use my magic to protect them. and it backfired very horribly. I don't know. I don't feel like this has happened before. It's not been. I almost feel like I don't control it.
You speak of magic. You ask about the spirits that follow me. The spirits of the elemental planes. And you see the wind starts picking up again as the flames start licking, and you see what looks almost like a dust devil starts forming around you two. This is unlike anything I've ever seen. I am the only one of my kind that I have ever seen. I look human, but from what I am told by the ancient masters, I come from a race of people who are known for their natural abilities and affinities with the air. But I do not know my people. I do not know where my magic comes from. I do not know how I can control it. But it is almost as if my will, as he says will, the air disperses again. You see the sand just, and the flames of the campfire almost gets blown out completely as they dim and crackle up again. And he kind of has this dismissive look as he starts talking about this. The control of magics that you speak of, I do not know. Perhaps go to the person who taught you it.
That's a little difficult trying to find her. My mother's a little hard to track down.
I never knew my mother. Or my father, for that sake.
Damn.
So I would know what you mean. I hope you find her, if that is your goal. You know, many years ago. He stands up at this point, and you see he kind of like walks over and grabs his helmet. Well, if that is all you have to ask, I say to this: if your magic is where your power is from, learn how to harness it. Learn how to use it for yourself. And the wind picks up again around him as the dust devil just appears around his figure. Like, not like a full dust devil that covers him, but like the sand just starts spiraling.
Some Pocahontas shit right
Can
And he kind of puts on his helmet and kind of straightens up his vest and picks up his what does citrus?
You said scimitar.
I believe I said scimitar before, but I need to do
Scimitars.
Or
He is a dual wielder.
Maybe he has a wand.
Dual
Meat skewer.
Like triple wielding?
Triple loading
Uh,
wand. Yes.
No, you see him pick up this curved sheep that almost comes to this half moon shape as he kind of hooks it onto his side. And he kind of straightens himself out. Well, if you need any companionship tonight, I can either come to your room or just meet me outside the Sand Dragon Inn.
I think we would scar my roommate. I'll meet you outside the inn tonight.
I mean, if your roommate is open to it.
Oh,
so would a threesome with two half species be considered just
Can
one?
you jump like 2 rooms over? Because I'm
That just
like,
got racist in like a weird way.
Okay,
Can she jump like 2 rooms over? Because I'm like, I'm in.
I
I
can
booked a
see
room.
that. I'm a happy.
oh, wow.
Somewhere in the distance.
At that point,
He,
he just laughs, and you see he walks off as the dust kind of picks up behind him. It's a good 10-minute walk to Katapesh. You realize if you start heading off right now, you'd probably just be walking right behind him.
With that awkward.
That awkward
Okay, fine.
epic exit.
Yeah.
I'm heading the same way. Okay, I'll just wait here for 30 minutes. Kind of thing.
I'm gonna change into a bird and then change into a dove and
Alright.
fly back to the inn.
As you change into the, as he walks off, you see Eggs jumps off and flies down towards the updraft that he's created, and you see he just gets lifted up 50 feet higher. It's like the highest you hear. Just freaking out, and you turn into a dove, and almost like getting to the same height as Eggs. You kind of guide him back to the
inn.
To the inn itself.
Oh my goodness.
Did you leave the window open at night or did you close it?
I haven't been in there. So
She wasn't there.
Those
So-
No one's been
so-
there.
Well, think about it this way.
Do
If
those
eggs was
windows
left open,
even
if
have?
eggs came out, the
Eggs
window.
came out, so
yeah.
the window was open.
These windows even have
Yeah.
clothes.
Yeah, they have.
To be honest, I'm a terrible roommate. I haven't been in
Remember,
the
you-
room in
Eggs
several
almost-
days.
Jumped out the window for you. Yeah.
Yeah, did you ever close
So,
the window?
That was my. greatest
You guys
nightmare.
make it back to the tavern. You fly into the window, and Eggs you shoot. Boom!
Oh,
Oh,
those are Texas
no.
commercials.
Yeah.
Aaron, my greatest fight yet has been with a giant chicken.
So,
Don't.
we'll stop there for now. As you enter into your room, you don't see Theo, and the room is immaculate, just the way you had left it the day you left. Towards
You
the
like torn up
cave.
plate things.
Yeah, there are like still sheets kind of ripped up a bit. No, you cast mending.
We fixed most.
You guys
of them.
cast mending.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
That
guys
was
fixed
2
everything.
days ago.
So,
it
yeah, the
hasn't
room is
been
fine
torn up
now.
Since then.
Yeah. Well, you see a pile of sheets on top of the bed where Eggs had nested,
Aww.
but not torn up, just like kind of
Full of shit.
yeah. With that done, since no one else is here, we'll jump over to Ben.
So
At the hall of the Alchemists and Potion Makers Guild, I would like you to make a perception check as you wake up.
oh dear.
Oh, and remember, you guys aren't good. Like your negatives to survival are not away until noon today.
Oh
Okay.
no!
Well, good thing we brought
Well,
that.
I would
Yeah,
say around
right.
6
And what is
so
up?
24 hours.
So it's probably noon-ish by now.
Okay, so let's say that it gets noon. You awaken from your fatigue.
12.
12.
Mm.
You hear the clanking of bottles near you as you kind of felt like you were, when you awaken, you don't know where you are. You think you're at home in bed, but then like slowly your mind goes, nope, I am here.
I reach for a water bottle and then I open my eyes. That's arsenic. That's arsenic. Stop drinking.
As you open your eyes, you see a man in long purple robes as well as ornate red trim with some golden jewelry kind of picking up one of your potions. As he is looking at
Am I
it,
being arrested?
you see one finger just has a golden kind of nail sticking out of it.
Yeah, I'm definitely being arrested.
And he looks down and says, No. You're not being arrested. Do not worry. I'm just admiring your handiwork from the night before.
What did I make? Wait. Oh, yeah. I did do that.
You've made some things that are quite beyond your scope, boy.
Yeah. It happens once in a blue moon.
Once in a friend's death.
You see that standing above you, basically, right next, like where you had knocked out on the floor, he is over your workstation and just grabbing the potions and like uncorking them, sticking the golden finger in, and you see he kind of scrolls around. You see he examines the finger. Interesting. These are potions of healing beyond your caliber. Tell me, how did you manage to do this?
Well, I want to say the secret is a motivated spirit.
That is bullshit. And
I don't know what I walked into, but that sounds accurate.
Bullshit's my middle name, good sir. Ben Toolman at your service.
Ben bullshit too.
Walaji Din Jalahari.
Oh dear God.
their name.
Yeah.
You music.
John Smith.
That poor kid.
That's MWALAJI.
Wait, start over.
MWALAJI.
Yeah. Yeah.
Space.
Yeah.
DIN apostrophe.
Mm-hmm.
JALHARI.
JALHARI. Malahi.
Mwalaji Din Jalhari. Din Jalhari. And you see, as he turns around, you see a golden kind of, like the pin of the hand from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It's a potion flask that is pinned on a golden pin that's pinned onto his robes. As he turns to you, I am the guild master of this establishment.
Oh.
You're one of the last ones here. I tend to make a scope around.
Right. Sorry. Hold on. Let me stand up. Pants. Okay. Shirt. Vest. Good. Hat. I didn't bring it.
You see he flicks his hand as a gust of arcane energy just flickers around you as all the grime and dirt just flickers off of you.
Oh, okay.
Like excessive
And
amounts
all
of
your
blood.
makeup, just like the caked on makeup that hasn't been washed off recently,
No, I haven't.
just
Yeah.
like even the ones that like just in the smear that was there, just
Yeah.
gone. Ah,
Yeah.
Devilborn. Interesting. So, you've decided to spend the night in the Alchemist Guild. Tell me, what is the reason for this?
And honestly, usually I get a good night's rest. But God, that's a big question, man. I gotta admit, that's a big question.
That is fine. I'm not really interested. I want to know, as he looks at the potions, how you, with your abilities, were able to make these in such a short period of time.
Well, if you'd like to find out, I'd be interested in experiment companion, because honestly, I don't know myself. It's happened once before, and even then, it was a surprise.
Do you mind?
Sure.
You see his eyes kind of flash as he stares at you, and he kind of pushes up a pair of monocles, a pair of spectacles.
Okay.
Yeah, a pair of monocles.
It's two monocles. They're joined by a bridge, and they go around his ears.
But they're not glasses, I swear.
A pair of spectacles as they glow and glisten as he looks over your body. You say you have done this before.
Yep.
Yes?
Once. And the circumstances that preceded that were the same as this.
I would beware. I know many alchemists and many fantastic users of the arcane. Many of them have expended their lives trying to experiment with magics beyond their scope. You're weakened. And I can only assume that the last time you did this, you were weakened as well.
Safe assumption. True.
As the guild master of this particular guild, I must watch over those who join my people's ranks. Though I do not know who you are now under the watchful eye of my tutelage. So, do not expend yourself again, or I will revoke your license as a safe practitioner of alchemy. But I commend you for your experience and your uncanny ability to create such potions. Do not believe yourself to be better than others. You are good at what you do. Take it at the pace that you can do it.
But my friend, what is one life to save others? I can assure you that my creations I've created well under this fugue state of...
And what is one life to save others when it has ended because of irrational thought? You have saved others with your potions, yes? What happens when you die and your potions are needed? What happens when you're no longer there to provide for the people who rely on you for these potions? Like I said, I've known many great men who have expended themselves doing this. You're traveling a dangerous path. A word of advice from one who's been there before. Now, if you need to see me, my office hours are usually on Sundays.
Wow.
Dude, before you go,
Just
you got the formula for a potion of cure light wounds lying around, cure moderate wounds that I can maybe even purchase. I'm gonna add it to my list.
You see, he looks down into the potions.
So I don't expend myself further in the future.
For one of these cure light wounds, I would give you the formula. He takes it, and you see he pulls out a scroll from inside his pocket, and he opens it up and slides it out on the table, and almost as if he's drawing a small circle on the table itself, you see he pulls a quill out of the stone, and he starts writing a formula down as he dips the pen and kind of tastes your potion, and continues to write down the formula, and corks it, and puts the potion into one of the drawers and locks it, and the quill just drops back into the stone. Very Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah. I was thinking it.
He rolls up the formula, and you see.
God, that movie sucked.
Yeah. He pulls out what looks like a long vial, puts it in there and corks it. The formula to cure light wounds without the use of magic.
Long overdue. So this is not the extract version?
It is a formula, so that is not the extract version. No, this would be a potion created without the use of arcane magics.
Okay, can I, because I want to see if I can get the, because I can add extracts to my list, just like a wizard adds to their spellbook. I want to see if they have that here.
Okay.
That's kind of what I was asking for him.
So the extract is basically your spell, right?
Yeah, it's like adding a scroll to a wizard spellbook. Alchemists do the same thing. I can even take from wizard spellbooks if I have it on my alchemist list.
He takes the vial back from you, opens it back up as you clarify, and you see he's out underneath the list of ingredients. He starts writing down almost a mathematical formula. As he writes it down, you see that he is writing down the somatic, the material components, and the divine components that usually goes into healing spells, which is the hard part of you trying to copy it down. The only thing about Cure Light Wounds is, I believe, is a divine spell. It's on druids and clerics only.
Yeah. No, I get it.
You get it.
Cure Light Wounds and Cure Moderate, they're on
it's just not on the wizard spells, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see he writes it down, and he scrolls it back up, and he puts it in. This should be what you're looking for.
Thank you.
So, with that, say to you, do not return here for the next week. You've done enough for your body.
Does that mean I can't make extracts for a week, Paul?
No, you can take your materials that you need, you can check them out, but he's not allowing you to use their setup because you've basically hit a probation period for pushing yourself too far.
All right, that's fair.
Very well.
You're a good man.
I've reached my position for many reasons. I will not call myself good, but
well, then you're an interesting man at least.
Go enjoy the city, boy. He walks away from you, and you see he kind of walks up to you. Know that there was one side where the stairwell went downwards. Yeah. He walks up to a kind of parapet that. Or this column that doesn't have a door on it. As he just taps his hand on it, you see a door forms as he walks through, and the door just fades back into stone.
He was one of the guild masters?
He is the guild master of the grand guild master of this organization.
Sexy. Yeah, I'm gonna prep for the day, and then Do I still? I still feel lost. That's gone. Okay. I'm gonna head to the Sand Dragon.
All right, cool. So,
Michael's not coming.
okay.
Michael's not coming, or he's coming?
You headed back to
He's
the
not
Sand Dragon?
coming.
He's not coming.
Yeah.
It's gonna be too late for him. By the time he gets, it's gonna be too late.
Yeah,
to
I'm
wake
back.
up early.
I'm in the
So-
room right now.
With that, you head back to the Sand Dragon Inn. Back to you guys. So,
Theo,
Uh,
I
yeah.
haven't.
oh
gotten
right, sorry, I thought you were with that
Like,
group. Thank you.
Yeah.
he was
Sorry.
in
No, I just
the
make a
temple.
lot of snide comments.
Yeah, I keep thinking you're here, but it's just commentary.
It's just Tara being an ass.
Yeah.
No, you can
So-
fix
Which
it.
is very similar to Theo being an ass.
Back
I like
over to
Sarah,
you,
but-
Theo. Rewinding back to the top of the day. The lights of the Temple of the Everlight, the candles in the Temple of the Everlight, all are eventually dimmed down through some divine magics that have it almost tied to the circadian rhythm of the sun. As the sun rises over the horizon, the flames dim, and it's the darkest point of the day in the actual Temple of Kelmerane. As the aphorism goes,
It's always darkest before the dawn.
it's always darkest before the dawn, and with dawn brings new light. With dawn brings new hope, which is Kelmerane's aphorism. The light breaks through the window, and another day with the sun Katapesh bursts in. What would normally be like a shocking burst of light that would awaken anyone on the followers of Kelmerane is almost as if a greeting. You hear the prayers to Kelmerane begin around you as you awaken and join in as you hear the acolytes and the priests giving their thanks and giving their offerings of incense to the goddess. You notice that some of them have come around and actually taken your sword and just taking it to the side to anoint it with holy water as they kind of brush it off and clean it while you were praying.
Oh, okay.
You're hot shit around here now.
I guess so.
They see the sigil of Kelmerane on the blade, and they see that some of the stuff that you carried with you. They're indicative of a higher state of service to Kelmerane.
What I have?
Yeah.
Or what they have?
What you have.
Oh.
You're like
Now, like they're very modest in a lot of the stuff they
you're
have.
like
Like
15 grand in with Scientology, kind of.
yeah, you're like a level 16th member of the club. But it's also your blade is a ornate, beautiful like blade with like Kelmerane's symbol kind of in the pommel itself, in the rapier pommel. It shows your status. As you awaken, the light just shines upon you, and you see the statue of Kelmerane is there, and the idea of life just that life is hope comes into you. That if breath can still be drawn, there's always a chance of redemption. And if there is no room for redemption in the soul of whatever you're trying to save, then there can only be
Swift death.
swift death. The light of Kelmerane just halos the statue, and the clerics all begin, or the acolytes all begin to do their daily routines, and they start to clean up the actual temple itself. And one brings over your sword and bows to you and just
Thank
hands
you.
up. You are very welcome, my child.
Is there anyone who's in charge of this temple for the time being?
We all take fair duties amongst each other, but you see he kind of looks around and
It's just gonna get worse later than I
I don't know.
You're gonna watch from the
We do have one of the newer clerics under Mumbazi who started 2 years ago, was here. She is outside tending to the morning rituals of the peoples.
Yeah, I'm pretty new with this whole business, so yeah, I think if she's available, I would love to speak and about Sarenrae and stuff.
You can find her giving the sermon right outside the gates.
Okay,
God, Tom.
thank you.
She bows to you and she walks off, and you see that she doesn't have a holy symbol, but it's more of a something stitched onto the back of her robes of the wings of Sarenrae. As you step out, you see a
low cost cosplay. I like that.
you see children are running about, as well as some kind of more modestly dressed women and children being brought up to this this tall, thin, bronze-skinned half-elf woman with messy golden hair and dark blue eyes. And
She is on point.
she just reaches out, and you see she kind of clasps one of the child's hand, and you see a small, like, gold coin is in the child's hand. She kind of closes it, and the child laughs, and the mother kind of bows and thanks her, and they run off. And she turns to you and sees you, like, greetings. How did you sleep?
Pretty good, honestly.
That is good to hear. You have been coming to the temple for the last couple of days, yes?
Yes.
Well, it is good to see that there are other clerics of Sarenrae here. I heard that there are whispers that you might know of Mumbazi.
That's actually what I wanted to speak with you guys about. You guys know a place called Kelmerane?
Yes, that is where our order was sent last. The orders that Mumbazi took.
Yeah, those orders were to bring me back to life. So good news, that worked. So that's good. I was over there with my team, basically defeating a demon sort of thing that was overtaking one of Sarenrae's temples over there. Died in the process. A month later, Mumbazi and friends come over and they bring me back.
As you're talking, you see she hands you like 5 gold coins and it's like, tell me while we help the people.
Yes.
As
And I'm handing
you see children kind of come up with their parents, and you see one child kind of coming up, a bandage over one eye, as kind of limping, kind of walks up to you.
Does he look like?
You're extra sad. You get a platinum.
No,
Takes the bandage off later.
Does it look like?
Would sort of like a channel energy be something to help somebody out who's been missing a ligament or something like that?
You know that would be a restoration spell.
Restoration.
Yeah. It would
Okay,
be a
but it
little
doesn't
bit
look
higher,
like there's
yeah.
any like thing that I could.
It doesn't look
heal.
like they're currently ailing in any major. Like they're not bleeding out. It's more like these are either long sustained injuries or something of that like.
That okay, so.
I mean, you could try. It might bring them comfort.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna, when I pass the coin over, I'm gonna do a like little channel energy for everyone around the area just to get the light of Sarenrae.
So you hand him the coin, and you feel the warmth of your holy symbol glowing, and you see the same warmth coming off from the woman, the half-elf woman that you were talking to, and you see she has been constantly channeling like this slow warmth out of her towards the people, and she kind of looks at you and smiles and kind of goes back, and she just looks at you and says, continue your story.
Here's the part of the story that gets pretty glum. So So I'm not sure if we want to finish with this first and then get to the glum stuff.
You see, she hands out a coin to this woman who has no child with her, and she kind of closes the woman's hand and kind of just says something to her in Kaleshian and turns to you. Very well, let us step inside. Arriving into the temple, the light just kind of fills up again.
Okay.
She kind of sits in the pew, like staring up at the effigy of Senator.
I'm not sure if there's a good way to say this, but Mbazi is dead.
The master is old.
Mm-hmm.
He has been around for a long time. He now walks with the goddess.
Yes, he does.
I have seen it in a dream. I didn't want to believe that it was truly what has happened, but thank you. Were you close to him?
Whenever I would have a question of faith or morality, I would usually go to see him about that. And now with his death brings a new question of morality for me. And I'm not quite sure who to turn to, because to be honest, my friends are kind of assholes. Oh, come on!
Rude.
I'm an asshole. My friends are assholes.
Hi, asshole.
Yes,
Asshole.
okay.
He, she, we, asshole. So we all get along. So that's how we all get along.
Brown's a nice girl.
The
Yeah, except for
assholes of
Chris.
anarchy.
That's the name of
She's
the episode.
exploring her sexuality.
Yeah. So it's not your asshole.
You see, she kind of, the woman kind of laughs a bit, and she kind of turns to you. The light of Sarai, you see the same warmth that you got from Mbazi, you got from her, you feel from her, like where Fayar kind of has a steeliness to his worship. You see that the kind look that Mbazi gives you is reflected in this woman. And she turns to you. Master Mumbazi has taught me over the many years of his life. He has learned that each one of our lives is like a day. And with every day, the sun must set. But each and every one's lives is equally as important as the next. His sun has set, his day has ended. But it does not mean that yours is near the end. You learned from him, you had the gift of his knowledge. If your friends are assholes, maybe you need to be the one to guide them away from assholery. But if not, then if you ever need the wisdom of the goddess, turn to her. If you ever need a friend to speak of the parables of the Dawnflower, feel free to come here. Our priests and acolytes know of the way of Mumbazi, what he taught. And if it is true that you say he has passed, then that means you're the next in succession to take over the light of ceremony within Kelmerane. With him being gone, I have to stay here to take care of Katapesh itself, to re-establish a new high priest within this region. But you can always come to me if you need it.
Thank you. Also, I'm Theo, by the way. I wasn't. We started the conversation, but it never really quite came up, and I wasn't sure when would be a good time for it. So.
She reaches out her hand and she clasps yours. Retena. Retena.
Yeah.
She must have perfect vision.
Or can you start to help?
There were like other names on this list that I didn't want to use because I knew you guys are assholes.
Yeah. See, that's why I said that.
You should have seen the first name that was on the list that was actually for this NPC. Monthapoo. What the hell would you have done if I said that out loud?
What you just did.
Straight face. I'm not here to judge.
Giggling like an idiot on the ride home.
My name is Ipacat. You see that as she kind of leans in to clasp your hand, her holy symbol is very simple. You see it's a small golden chain, much smaller than the platinum one that Mbazi had. And you can kind of tell that she's still very young and very inexperienced. I mean, very similar to you, half-elf woman from this town.
Now with blonde hair.
Yes, but just
It's like-
reflected of you. It's like,
It's what's that thing? Like I'm you but better or something.
Oh.
Like that's how I'm feeling.
She's taller, features are more chiseled. It's like
Yeah, she's got like a perfect tan. I just get freckles and burn.
she's nice to children, you know.
When have I?
only
ever
Sarah and
been
Ray
dick
could
to
deliver that
children?
burn.
Have I'm honestly
Weren't you the one who skimped the kid that we paid for our horses?
Yeah.
Okay, I paid
She
first.
wasn't mean to the kid.
Okay, I paid first. I set the quota, and then you guys all went up in the prices. You guys made me look like an asshole when I was the one who was giving money first, and you guys weren't even thinking about it.
Your friends are assholes.
Yes, they are, and then they make me look like an asshole. And
I'm just imagining you telling her this.
Yeah, I
Oh my god, I
It's so
love kids.
frustrating.
And you see she's just laughing the entire time as the other acolytes bring out tea and stuff like that.
Crumpets.
Talking for a couple hours. Like it's like 6 a.m. when you guys awoke and had began the morning sermons. And she kind of turns to you and is like, it is reaching midday. We must begin our ablutions before the second sermon, as well as the charities to the poor. Would you like to join us, or would you like to leave any donations to give to those in need?
I think I'll join you guys.
Very good. We will be heading to the docks later today, but we are going to wash and clean ourselves beforehand, so we will be heading over to Tralia's bathhouse.
Nothing like some good friendly nudity.
You see like a number of the male priests as well as the female priests kind of all have lined up outside, and
That's just awkward.
they kind of all walk over, and they're all having very friendly conversations to each other. And every kind of time someone passes by who walks up, you see the priest reach into a purse. Like when the Church of Abadar collects tax from the people, the Church of Sanray gives.
Wait, now I'm imagining a soccer line of them passing by each other. Cerner who's standing going.
It's like they're taking the coins. Like, hey, yo, yep, paying your taxes.
Wait, aren't like churches?
They're tax exempt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm surprised this is a conversation we had to have in game.
There's a church of taxes.
But you do see like
Coin is not just king, it's God.
Yeah.
you do see as walking through the streets towards the docks district itself, which I have the map. Yes, that closing things.
Tara, you know what Sarah and I priests drink when they want to get crazy? Sun-kissed.
I was thinking fireballs, but I guess we've got different definitions of crazy.
I'm very intense.
Walking over to the docks district, you pass by a small kind of alleyway. You see, going into most of the major buildings, a number of the clerics of Abadar have begun their rounds to collect the daily taxes or the monthly taxes from the different cycles. And they kind of like are kind of tallying things, and they're going into the merchant shops. But poor aren't taxed for being poor, you know, like
Okay.
they have nothing to be taxed for. So walking through this alley, you see a number of destitute people, and a group of children as they run up to Retena, and you hear them saying, "Yesterday, a nice man came and gave us some money. So today we don't need the blessings of Serenray. We want to get back." And you see, like, they pull out like 2 silver pieces that they have left, and they kind of give it back to her as they run off. Did you hand them a pile of coin, or did you hand them a bag? So you see like a very familiar kind of leather pouch that you've seen Yomi carry around in their hands. Where did you get that?
That's it. This is what we're supposed to do, right? Right.
As they give it to her, she kind of smiles at them, and like as they run off, she looks around to find a kind of older looking gentleman, and drops as he's sleeping. She drops the 2 coins inside his bowl and continues walking. Getting to Tralia's bathhouse, you see she pays for like 2 floors up 2 private baths for about like 5 gold coins each, and you all head up, and all the females go into one and all the males go into the other. As you see, it's not one giant bath, but as you come in, it's like different spigots of water are kind of lined up around the room that just pour in a trickle of water into these individual pools.
Okay.
It seems like the same as the community pools on the first floor, but except they're a little bit more private, and it's for whatever like maybe private parties that people choose to try to have, but there's not like one conglomerate pool.
Okay, yeah, because I'm probably just like covered in blood.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah, like
But if you want an adventure, go to the community pool.
because like usually I just do like create water and
Yeah.
do that shit for free.
So you see a very beautiful selection of oils and scented soaps, from lavender to lilac to different fruits that have been infused into
Yeah, I
the
have
oils.
literally no idea what like any of this is. I'm
All
not
of
used to luxury, so like
This
I'm
one
just
looks expensive.
going to be like sort of like sampling. So I don't know like what's good or not.
You see a lot of them grab like a chunk of kind of what looks to be a hardened brick of lard that has this scent of sage on it, and they all take like a bit and like spread it on the finger as they walk over to their individual stalls.
I'm gonna copy them verbatim.
So you go up, take a chunk as you watch them all, and you see as they walk over to the
Except
water.
like I'm gonna go to like if they're all like splitting off, then I go over to like whichever one's open or whatever.
Yeah. So you head over to one. You see one of the priestesses kind of rubbing her hands in the water, and as the lard kind of breaks down, and see like the top of the water gets a small skim of oil that scents. Its fragrance just fills up the entire room. As she kind of looks over and kind of gestures to the was like, "Do you need any assistance?"
No, I'll figure this out.
Cool. So, cool. Okay, whatever, buddy. She just rips off, and you see she like
It's been a long day.
pulls off like her robe and kind of wraps herself with a towel and hangs up her robe next to it and steps up and into the bath and just sits down and starts washing herself. And you see they all kind of follow the same rhythm. Like they're all washing one arm next and like very cleanly.
I'm doing.
Like first time you've seen a loofah ever.
Yeah.
Are they about to break out into song?
Oh God.
There's a
There's
synchronized
got
swimming bit, you know, like here.
Wow.
After about an hour in there, you see the oil skimming on top of the water has disappeared, and you've rubbed off a lot of the grime on yourself.
I'm like
feeling-
3 shades lighter.
Yeah, just like all the sand that you've been like kind of
Yeah.
building up for like a week's travel through the desert, just gone. Exfoliated everything. And because of the oil in the water, you feel your skin kind of just get a little bit of that vibrancy back. As they all step out, you see they all dry off and just with some of them, you just hear as they kind of flick their hands, and a burst of wind just washes them. You can tell that some of them know thaumaturgy as a spell, and they're just like casting it to dry themselves.
The ones who don't hate when they do that because it gets all
Yeah,
over
it's
them.
Yeah.
And some of them are just drying themselves with
I'm
towels.
making a noise while
No, you see all of them are like, and you're like, like you're the Dyson hair dryer.
Yeah.
Slopes in the road, guys. I'm new at this.
I do it normal.
So
I'm not that weird.
You
Tara
s-
is, but Theo's better.
you see Ratina also dries herself off normally, and then like puts back on her robes and undergarments, and then you step out, and you see the men have also like begun stepping out at the same time. It's very well timed. These people, almost like they do this on a daily basis. Leaving the Charlie's bathhouse, you make it to the docks district, and you see. Backwards.
I'm trying to figure out if it was true or not.
Yeah, iPhone.
You see a place called Anexia's Fishing Menagerie. Yeah, Anexa Palanthia's Fishy Menagerie.
Ooh, fishy or fishing?
Fishy.
Oh, it's a fishing menagerie.
You know what they say about those?
No, please.
Says me not knowing if there is a double entendre, but assuming that there is.
Probably.
Trying to act like I'm ahead of the curve. while
You see a
desperately trying
number
to make a
of
joke.
like kind of differently dressed people, not normal Canapeshian garb. Like people in the city wear anything from like rich, vibrant clothes to more simple commoners' clothes. These people are dressed a little bit more eccentrically. Everything all right?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the payment to go through.
Oh, okay. You see also 3 dwarves kind of standing in line, just kind of looking anxious and smiling at each other and just waving at people. They're dressed in very colorful fractal patterns that almost look like of African kind of origin, and their skin is just very, very tanned. If you've never seen like a dark-skinned dwarf before, because most of them tend to be in the mountain.
Living
and
Yeah,
under
they don't get much
Yeah,
sun.
these
there.
dwarves seem to be more like desert-based dwarves. Their beards very pristinely groomed down. Some of them wearing a like not a turban but a wrap around their heads, and you see some ornamental-looking weapons around them, but nothing like a great hammer or a war pick that normally you've seen dwarves
Do they look
wield.
like the same sort of dwarf ethnicity as Travis and Truthers?
No, Travis and Truthers seem to talk as if they come from the inner sea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah. So you
Yeah,
continue.
Oh my god, that's cool.
Yeah, you continue along your way, and you make it
Noted.
over to 9.
9.
Oops, sorry.
You come to this area like that seems to be a series of different stores and shops. One's called the Scorpion Sting, which is a large tent,
Wow.
and you step. Expansive that says on it the House of Whips.
A slower note.
No.
31, 32, 34.
But like, I'll keep note of it because
Yeah, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And you see
I
a
think
temple.
I'd be interested in the fashion there. Like,
You see a temple that has the same symbol that Father Zaster has. The mask. Huh? Yes, it is the temple of Nephis. And you make it all the way over to the slave blocks. As you arrive there, you kind of stop and Ratina kind of turns and says, like, we're here to give the solace to those who have lost their freedom. We do not have the means to grant them freedom in the city, but we can at least ease their suffering in the exchange of hands. This will be difficult if you are not used to it, but just know that this is how the law works here, and we cannot change that. Not at our position or state. And she kind of turns away as you see a cart kind of rolls in, being pulled by a couple of oxen, as a number of half elves, dwarves, humans, gnomes, halflings are kind of pulled off this cart, all in very tattered clothes, in chains, as they kind of walk out, as each of the clerics kind of walk up and kind of grab their hands as they're kind of lined up there, and the clerics kind of grab their hands, and you see the acolytes pull out out of their sacks like small basins and little jugs of water, as they pour water onto them and then start like washing, kind of cleaning off the faces, and each one of them is saying a prayer, or they're repeating the aphorisms as they would. With the dawn brings new hope, and each one of them is trying to give some solace to these. And you see some of the elves have the stern look. The half orcs seem to just be resigned to their position. Some of the gnomes, you see tears kind of stain their purple and different shades of purple faces, and some of the hair has already started turning a little white.
Oh, that's not good.
That's not good for them. It's just a harsh sight to see. And you see this one of the slave master walks over and looks at all of you and like, very well, all of you do your thing. I'll be back within 30 minutes after lunch. So, is there anything that you find that is wrong, let me know. I will lower the price of the slave. And he steps away, and you see a number of Zephyr Guard like take position behind him as they watch the clerics do their work. You see that there's one halfling that is not been claimed, and just face is just down to the ground.
do I have like the same materials as the other clerics?
Yeah, you have the same materials. You see that Ratina didn't bring a jug, but she kind of has the basin, and she casts Create Water into it.
Okay.
As she did that, she uses that water.
Okay, I'm gonna try to go over to the halfling. Then.
Yeah, so you walk over to the halfling, and as you walk up, you see it flinches down a bit, like it looks up to you, and you see this kind of spindly-looking halfling, like emaciated, and it's squinting a bit, and you see its hair is kind of like sticking up all over the place.
Do you mind?
I'm sorry, I can't. I don't know where I am. I haven't had food or water, and where am I?
Going to offer some water.
You offer up some water, and you see like he drinks it, and you see he's squinting, and it looks like he can't see very well. And she's like, "Where? What's going on? I heard something about being sold, and what's happening?"
I'm sorry, friend.
I mean, I have money. I run a merchant company. I just don't. They're pirates. I don't belong here. I'm not like everyone else. I have money. I just please.
Unfortunately, that's not for me. I have no power here.
I don't know what's going on. I just don't know. And you see, he kind of like looks at the ground. You see, he's like really frustrated because. Give me an sense motor check.
Sit around ready dice. All right. Time to open up my character sheet. 25.
25. He looks like someone who normally would be wearing glasses, who doesn't seem to have their glasses. Which is probably one of the most frustrating things in the world. Yeah. I mean, on top of slavery.
Yeah.
Like,
One of the most frustrating things in the world.
Not slavery, but my glasses.
Can't see.
You were also told that to let the slave master know if there was anything wrong with the slaves, so that he would lower their price.
Is there anywhere where I could buy spectacles?
Not that you know, most of them are custom made, and only the rich can afford to wear them, or only those who have some semblance of coin can afford to wear them.
As the lens crafters in the Twilight Gate.
Oh god, the optometrists.
Literally, they literally craft lenses right in front of you.
He's an optomancer. He kind of looks like, look, I have a company. Like, just if you go back to the inner sea and you go back to Avestan, it's called Lotso's Merchantry. I'm the owner. Something's happened.
You're the owner?
Yes, something happened over the seas. Pirates took our ship, and I don't know how many days it's been. I don't remember anything.
I'm so sorry. But good news is the person who did this to you is dead, so.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
I guess.
That'll help you out. I met a guy who.
But that's not gonna help me anything here, honey.
I can't do anything. I thought maybe hearing that would help you out.
Now you're yelling.
Why aren't you letting me help you right? You're doing it wrong.
Let me tell you the story.
I'm gonna bring Josie's card in because there's some.
Huh?
I'm gonna bring her card in because there's seconds.
Okay, so yeah, bring it. Because my card's yeah, bring it in for now.
I'm trying to be a good person.
You see, he just looks at you and is like,
I'm sorry, that was out of place. Yeah.
Look, he kind of like inches, like kind of pulls you. Okay, like if they're really gonna try to sell me, could you buy me? No, I mean I'll make myself look like I'm worth less.
Oh yeah, well I mean you're kind of blind, so that already puts you ahead.
Well, I mean that's a little
of being
affordable.
Affordable. I'm not all that rich.
Okay, so
if you could see what I'm wearing, it isn't good stuff. The armor doesn't even match.
I can't see what you're wearing.
Yeah, my point exactly of why you cost less. Sorry, no offense, but like,
so
So,
I'll play it up. I'll trip when I do the thing. But yeah, you buy me, all right? I'll pay you back. I promise I'll pay you back. Just get me out of this.
Can I do like a check?
Sense motor check? Yeah.
Because
the first goddamn time you guys do a sense motor check on your own.
No.
I want to be sure if I do this. Like, am I even able to do this? Is anyone able to own a slave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is anyone able to like own a slave and be like, hey, you're not a slave anymore?
Yeah.
That wasn't as confident as the first yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, you can. It's like when you own the slave, you can do whatever you want with the slave.
Oh
It's-
golly boy.
Just whether or not like
Oh,
you would have to get rid of the slave brand that's on them.
Well, we know fire.
okay, that is a 12 on
12?
the sense motive. Like, does he seem like he'll be able to fulfill his end of the bargain?
He seems like he is desperate to get out of the situation. Whether or not he can fulfill the end of the bargain, he looks like a slave to you. Like he looks the same as everyone else, dirty.
Does he look exactly like Lotso? Did Lotso-
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
No.
So from being from the Apostani area and stuff, I probably know a bit about merchants considering
Yeah.
my family
Yeah.
sold. Can I just like ask him a couple of questions
Yeah.
just to, because I don't know, but like Theo would know.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna like ask a couple of things for that.
You ask him where he's from. You ask him like his name. He
What's
says
the exchange rate?
Oh my
What's the Dow worth right now?
he says his name is Marcus Lotso. When you tell him the story about Lotso Goldsack, he says that's a stupid name.
Unfortunately, I wasn't really paying attention. You know.
Most of us would.
It's fine. I mean, he sounds like a horrible person. But I mean, the trade routes, we're trying to establish a little bit more of a trade. There's a lot of stuff here that we don't have over there, and a lot of stuff over there that we had that they don't have over here. And I'm just trying to bring a little bit more of the textiles that we have over there to this country. They seem to like what we got. They don't have forests and farmlands really much over here. It's what I'm trying to bring.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like enough with the third degree. Like, can you help?
I'll tell them that you're blind and useless,
I want to.
so that I can buy you, so that we can get you some glasses, and you'll be free.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Part of me bringing you down is so that you'll eventually be.
You see that right now he doesn't seem to have a brand on him, and none of the slaves seem to have a brand on them.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of like stares at you. He's like, "All right, look, I've heard some stories about this place. Just come quick, please.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll be able to survive in slavery. I mean, look at me. Like, look at it. Just yeah.
No offense, but you're pretty pathetic. Yeah, I'll do what I can.
Yeah. No, seriously. Like, please."
Mm-hmm.
And you like at this point you hear a tug and you see the slave master coming back. He's like, get me out of here! As
Who is the person I'm supposed to report to if I find something that is wrong?
the slave master, or you can tell Rutina.
I'm gonna tell the slave master.
All right. So as the slave master comes over, you see a number of the clerics kind of walk up to him as they kind of give a check of clean bill of health. Some of them is like elderly but still able to work. Some of them just do it almost like autonomously. Rutina kind of walks over and you see her give a report saying, "Oh, this one has a broken leg. He will not be able to do as much work as the others, but he is intelligent. He would seem to be a good slave for those who have bookkeeping needs." And you see that slave, the slave masters is like, he'll get whatever he'll do whatever the owner wants him to do. He will get the same diminished price. We'll let the people know, but no promises. You know how this works. As Latina kind of walks off, and like you're behind her, and he looks at you like, "So, what's up, the little one?"
Okay, little one is like freaking blind.
Blind, he cannot see.
Like he's got his squint. I think like probably needs like something like this over his eyes with like glasses or something.
You see the slave master pushing up his own glasses.
Yeah, I would have seen that. I'm not dumb.
I'm not blind. He is.
You see that the slave master does have glasses on. Like they're like those little bitty ones that are used for reading.
Yeah.
And as you tell him this, he's like, diminished eyesight, cannot see well. Very well, so he has diminished in price about let's say we'll start him at 5 gold pieces, and we'll see where it goes from there. So, thank you very much for your service. You see, he pulls out a coin purse of gold and puts it in your hand for the troubles of the church as he walks away. You don't know when the sale is happening.
Can I ask?
Yes, you can. So, well, if you didn't ask,
Well,
You-
I didn't know that they were leaving.
yeah.
Yeah.
He tells you that it's going to happen later in the day, so that they can prep the slaves a little bit more before,
Like in this area.
like in this area at the slaves block, around like 10 of 3.
All right. 3
Uh,
o'clock. Slave block. Oh boy.
like
I'm
this
making
area.
plans
Okay.
and being productive.
so, but you also know that you need to meet with your friends to pick up the gold. At this point,
Okay.
heading back to the other group,
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys.
oh
Where are you guys headed?
we're going. Some
You need weapons. Yeah, we're trying to see if we can find a blacksmith. So we're gonna ask around basically if there's any.
Easily enough, you are told and directed to Alfayar's, I believe. No.
Was that
restaurant.
was that the guy who
Yeah.
was like, or wears? I know there's some guy who was like, "What's your taste or preference or some weird thing?" I don't know. Sounds like food.
Yeah.
but-
Alfaran Steel Restaurant, one of the finest smiths in town for weaponry.
Okay.
Very curious branding.
Yes. Mine's. Oh.
So-
I mean, I would.
It sounds better in its own.
I'm guessing I would
Better
the
in
first
its own language.
time I walked by, or like.
You don't see the name in Avastani. You see you come up to the same place that they kind of pointed you to where you first encountered the major D.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, what I've rephrase it, like the first time I went by, would I've seen the name, or would it just have been just him coming up to me and then?
He came up to you,
Okay.
and you find it familiar. At this point in time, you all walk up and you see the kind of well-dressed robed man. It's like, you have all returned, and I see you have brought your friends.
Yeah, I said I would return, and here I am.
Would you all like to taste the wares of Alfaron Steel Restaurant?
Wait, we're tasting wares. What kind of wares exactly?
Wait, I thought this
Are
was
we talking?
I thought this was a weapon.
Where did you guys take me?
If you would all please come in. And he opens the door, and you see a large counter with seats in front of it, and what looks almost like a sushi kind of bar where you're seated, and then the counter lifts a bit, and you see a man there.
The man below the counter.
Behind the counter, and you see the counter has cloth draped over it, almost like a dining table,
I guess.
and it's lit by torchlight inside.
I guess we'll take a seat.
Yes, please come in. The master will be serving you shortly as the man closes the door. As you walk,
It's gonna be like Men in Black, where he like hits the button and then. I don't know.
as you walk in, you see a number of servants kind of come out in like very like the same kind of robes as the maître d', but not as ornate. Like the embellishments that he has on it, the badges, the steel, and all that is not on theirs. As they come over with a menu of drinks, like, would you like any drinks, milk, wine, beverages of ale, anything for you this morning?
I'm good.
No,
Mimosa.
thank you. Do you have milk?
Would you like chilled milk or warm milk?
Yeah. Chocolate milk.
We could get some ground cacao powder and put it within.
That sounds good. I'll take
He steps away, and you see shortly after
What is
a
this?
Did you ask for chilled or hot?
Warm is good.
So warm milk. It's slightly steaming, and you see a bowl of this finely ground brown powder next to it, as well as a couple blocks of sugar on a plate. You see out comes a number of servants It's only the three of you, right?
Yes.
With some steaks as they lay them in front of you, and compliments of the master for your dining pleasures while we show you the wares. As they step away,
Compliment.
Thank
I
you.
reach into my pocket.
And
Like,
They
I
do
forgot.
make food here.
I like reach into my pocket. Like, fuck, I forgot. I had
how much money do you guys have?
Um,
I want to go
Brandon-
Tordak. That owes you.
You get 352 gold and
Guys, how do I
8
get the
silver.
cow into the milk?
So
Do you not need
as you
money?
ask this, you see one of the waiter kind of walks over and like he begins spooning in like two spoons of the powder and mixes it. And as he mixes it, you see the milk just turns, and whatever sweetness you would need, the sugar cubes will be impeccable for your taste. As they step away, you see a man walk out, and he has just a simple white apron smock on, but underneath the smock he has what looks to be an ornate black robe that has gold trim around it that's form-fitting, and the apron itself seems to be this white leather that has been tempered. And he walks up to all of you. He's like, yes, welcome to Alfaran Steel Restaurant. I am Weapons Master Daib Alfaran. Please, while you are enjoying your meal, I would like to present the first weapon for all of you to enjoy. As you see, he reaches back and pulls this ornate wooden box, and it has different shades of wood kind of inlaid into it that meld together into this kind of weave of a box. As he opens it up, you see a large knife. As he lifts it out, it shines a little bit and gives off a glimmer of light as he kind of waves it in front of you and puts it down. This is the bloodletting kukri. Its weapon. This weapon will ensure that any enemy you face will bleed and continue to bleed after each attack. And you see as he touches it, it begins to glow. It also sheds light. As he slides it to one side, 6,308 gold pieces. You see he pulls out.
Oh my god.
And how much is the milk?
I feel like this is a high quality
You see he pulls out, he goes back behind the curtain again, and you see a bow in a hand reaches through the curtain, and an arrow is drawn back as it shoots out between your two heads as it hits it hits a target that is on the wall behind you all, and you see as it hits, the target starts corroding and it completely dissolves.
Oh.
As he steps out, you see he almost ceremonially and almost performed and rehearsed. He puts the bow in front of all of you. This is a corrosive longbow. Its attack is 4 times as dangerous as any other longbow, and it will ensure that whatever it hits will no longer have the armor it wears or the skin on its back over time. 50,375 gold pieces. And as you started hearing him list out prices as he brings out more and more weapons, you realize
This is beyond our range.
might be beyond your range bit. Who ate the steak?
I just drinking the milk.
Yeah, so
After you saw the 7,000 gold
Yeah.
Yo, we go to cut it like no.
those are enchanted daggers. Those are enchanted steak knives.
They're Ginzu.
Before I continue, what type of weapons would you all like to see?
Do you have anything with finesse or something that is elegant at the same time can perform? Like, I don't know, a fan maybe? A fighting fan, 10 cent? Anything like that?
Let me see.
Please show us our lower range stuff options.
Where's the bargain?
Maybe just
bin?
like a watered up newspaper.
Yeah, anything like that.
Do you have a bargain bin? Can I
Yeah,
get a copy of Hot Fuzz
the
with this
$5
man?
DVDs.
Yeah. Oh, look, the Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, hey.
I kind of feel like
I don't know.
there should be like
Wonderful.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia intros, like seeing the
Yeah.
horrors of slavery, and then cuts to Theo buys a slave.
I don't even have a lot of gold.
We can always have
Well, we should have maybe asked
The
the
gang
price
makes a deal with
range.
Revenant.
I mean, maybe it's within our price range.
Who shops here? The mafia?
Probably a
As you see
lot of
5 guys in suits at various portions of the restaurant turn to face you. No.
They don't
Oh.
shop here.
No, that's weird. Probably inventors with a lot more money. Or...
They were just
We have one weapon readily available, but if you're looking for a fan, I can find one. I will just need to acquire some dragon's hide to ensure that it is of the highest quality for you.
What is this? This is a high quality weapon restaurant.
But we do have a rapier on hand. It is a cunning rapier. The weapon will allow you to find chinks in the defense of your opponents.
Make me rapier buddy.
Your little rapier.
It will ensure that you'll find vital strikes a little bit more possible in combat.
How much is that? I'm gonna guess 10,000 gold.
Close. It is actually quite inexpensive. 8,300.
How much is the fan if I give you the dragon hide?
The fan with the provisions of the dragon hide, as well as dragon claws,
Sure, let's throw in dragon
Oh.
claws.
I will say 3,000 gold pieces.
Oh, damn, that's
So
good.
we-
Okay, I'm gonna come back with those materials. I'll just come back with those materials.
I think I'll be good for now. I just want to know if someone can actually make
Would you like to commission a fan for now, and we can start construction? Wait for you to provide the final pieces.
Illusionary dragon.
Sure.
What enchantment would you like on this fan?
What?
You may choose one enchantment to put on this fan.
What enchantments do you have?
We could put in a cunning enchantment, an enchantment of Bane. We may choose one creature that is enchanted to fight at random, or a simple enchantment to ensure that each strike hits true.
What is a cunning enchantment?
It will allow you to more likely hit in a critical strike.
Or your fan will become sentient.
Oh, good.
I'm
So
gonna
it's
go
just
with
sass
cunning
us.
or the last one. I need to think on it.
The
But,
cunning enchantment is a little bit more expensive.
okay, now I'll go for the last one.
The
+1.
plus one
Yeah,
enchantment.
the plus one.
The
How much
the
is it
ba-
cunning?
The
What's the-
basic.
Out of
It
game.
would be an extra 2,000 gold pieces.
Okay, so that's 5,000.
Honestly, man, if we fight the dragon and you come back with that shit,
But we have to come back.
Okay.
But we also need to survive.
You guys
I'll
know
give
where
you the
a dragon
3,000.
is?
I'll give you the 3,000
There's a blue dragon.
right now. Not right now, but let me go grab my friend. He has really.
Oh my
purse.
god.
Very well then. It is good to hear that you will be buying from us. Anything for you too.
Oh, I was just looking.
Yes, very good.
I like grabbed Tordic from the side. We need a fun bed now.
Not right now, but I will. If I need something, I will definitely come back.
Did you bring Vardashal with you?
Never leave the
I-
house without it.
I don't even think I mean, I got dragged out, so I don't really think I had anything
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so,
on. So I don't even think.
more likely than not.
With
you
my
know.
armor, are these? Their armor on me, or just?
I'm gonna say that if you were leaving, you would put on your armor.
Yeah,
just in case.
but I would have. Yeah, I don't think would have been. Yeah, would have.
So you
not
guys-
have much on me. Maybe like the. Maybe would have grabbed like
You guys step out,
Yeah.
not touching your steaks
Yeah,
at all.
didn't really grab any of the big.
That
corn
was like
buckets.
the best milk you've ever had. It was creamy. It was like 100% milk, not like skim or anything. And you just invented chocolate milk. To be honest,
It's
You,
really a
sir.
big deal from where it comes.
You sir should ascend to
What time is it?
godhood immediately.
What time is it right now?
you guys are about like 10 o'clock.
Should the guy be there at the Sand Dragon Inn or no?
So you head back to the Sun Dragon Inn. You come back and you see Bran, you went back to the Sand Dragon Inn. What did you do after you got back?
Well, I came into an empty room, so I probably went down to see where anyone was.
So you step down
as
and
a
you
bird?
see Ben walking.
No.
I wanted to have a conversation with her before.
All right. So Ben, you walk in to find Branwyn, kind of walking down the stairwell, with a kind of confused look on her face, I guess. Oh, what type of look?
I was wondering where everyone was.
Okay.
I walked away, but
Has
So,
everyone else died?
so you see Bran kind of walking down, a bit confused.
Not him, yeah.
Yeah. As soon as I walk through the door and I see you to the bottom of the stairs, I just stop for a second.
Drop and roll.
Not on fire yet.
Yeah.
But it's almost like a frozen in time kind of stop. Like mouth slightly agape. And then he walks out saying a word over and just gives you a big hug.
Yeah, because you weren't there when she resurrected. You're like, yeah, I knew it, and you just walked.
Yeah,
out.
I mean,
you
I did go and tell him.
Yeah, and then you walked.
Yeah, I'm like,
we walked away together.
yeah, I did tell him that you got better, then he's just like, I'm not.
All right. So
And then I break the hug and say, "All right, have something for you. Pocket. Here.
Took my many pockets.
I hand you a vial that looks like this burgundy liquid with little purple swirls going through it. Karoon's strong one. Keep it on your person."
Thanks. This is this is way too nice.
I like how she giggles.
Well, he handed me the card. I was reading it. It's got little sunglasses on it.
yeah, he spent a lot of time with us.
Let me buy you a drink. And I'm going to
Sure.
put it in the bar. What do you want?
Whatever's on tap.
So water.
Yeah.
Water's always on tap.
I mean, that we have a couple of bottles of ale.
Firewater?
available. You would like a bottle of firewater?
Sure.
You see, he pulls out a bottle of firewater, and you seal it. Comes out. There you go. 2 glasses.
You know this type of stuff better than I do. Would I be able to handle it?
Yeah.
2 glasses.
You see, he pulls out two small shot glasses, and he puts it out in front of you.
Cheers.
To friends.
To life.
We're taking the majority zombies.
Oh no.
Does it do anything to me?
I need you both to give me Constitution saving throws.
You just woke up and you're already getting drunk.
Yes.
So baby knows that you're already drunk.
Negative 2 boys.
You immediately die of blood alcohol poisoning.
Oh, I don't get
Liver
the
failure.
poison, right? The poison resistance.
I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Your
20.
Constitution. Let me see.
Yeah.
It's
Fortitude. So
Feel a bit-
Is it a fortitude or
fortitude. Yeah.
Fortitude. So you
Feel a little bit tipsy, but not
21.
21.
21. Branwyn slammed it down and just turns towards you. You see the kind of pale like face that you kind of saw when she walked down the steps, like flushes into the vibrant green again. Like
That's what you needed in your system.
Oh,
So how you doing, Brent?
not that great.
Understandable.
I mean, you understand.
It's happened to most of us now.
Not the most successful group, are we?
Oh, we do all right.
We stick together.
We're all alive still.
As you two are talking, you see the owner kind of walks over. He's like, "A missive has been left for you at the table." As he walks away, seems to be an order, kind of an invoice to say to pick up your gold at the Immaculate Repository. That is ready to pick up at the nearest
Cash is in.
Are you? Never mind.
Ocean's 9 all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Do I know that I'm
Sebastian
still
Netflix are
infected?
good at anything.
You can choose to play them how you want.
Well, that was a wolf after I died.
Like,
Oh,
know that.
you don't know that. Yeah, you don't remember any of that.
Hey, Brand, I gotta
Did
ask
any
you
of
a
us
question.
recap her? That sounds like something I would say in
Yeah.
an
I don't think
offhanded
any of you guys
remark.
had a discussion at all.
That's what I'm gonna have to do, guys.
That's what I was gonna say.
You guys like all
No,
split up as soon as she got bought
actually-
back.
During the time we were coming back, I told them basically the plan of what I was gonna do with Nazir.
Well, when you were coming back
Yeah,
from the cave,
from the cave.
so she was dead.
Oh shit!
Yes. Yeah.
That means.
Damn it!
Sorry, that was weird. Brand, I gotta ask you a question. Do you remember anything from when you were gone?
You said blue? Is that what you said, Paul?
Yeah. Or sorry.
You said I remembered something.
Blue light.
Blue light.
Yeah.
Blue light. After I tried casting the spell, everything just kind of went
Blue.
blue.
Yeah, that happened. You had an episode. We still need to get that lycanthropy out of your blood. It's fine. We'll get it. We got the cash now. Don't worry. No one was harmed. We're good.
Kristen was hard.
Mostly.
Did it
He's fine now.
come out? I mean, if you're saying that,
Yeah.
if you, what did I do?
Not important.
Who's checkered undies?
Denise.
Oh.
We know a little bit more about Denise now.
That's on camera.
Yeah, Josie, eat
Before
that
what?
donut.
It's been like 2 hours.
Checkered undies.
I think it was 2 hours ago or something by now.
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Continue.
Doesn't matter. You're good now. We're all fine.
I would very much like to get cured before
We will.
anything bad
Get you
happens.
cured. Get everyone's shit taken care of. That's what we
Ooh, a
do.
cart. We need to get our home back.
Yeah. Sorry. Honestly, I don't know how important the card is anymore. It's good for traveling, good for keeping out of the sun, but I used to keep it because it was all I knew, you know?
Mhm.
It was how I made my money, it was how I lived, it was where I stayed. But now, hell, I've been in a hotel room for the past few weeks. And I've been sleeping under the stars. And I've received money and I haven't sold a damn potion in months. So I'm thinking, do I really gotta do that? Nah. I got you people now.
What do you mean, you people?
Wow. We're you people.
Non-humans.
Y'all are
It's like all of
like
them.
I'm human.
Alright, guys.
Y'all are fun folks. Good people to be around.
We're a good misfit group. What was the name we came up with? The tricolors?
Try conclave.
Yeah. You mean blue.
What so if we don't get a cart, what are we gonna
Well, we could still get a cart. But I don't think I'm gonna be selling out of it in the future. I think I'm just gonna use it. I think we're just gonna live in it. I'll make a workbench and there I'll make it livable
mm-hmm.
and we can just use that. We ain't gonna be staying in this city for long. I doubt even to our own devices we're going to be staying in Kelmerane too long.
I think it would be a good idea to explore somewhere else.
You got any ideas?
Nope.
Will,
Are you gonna bring up the idea of a threesome at all to Ben?
any thoughts
I
of exploration
mean-
that cross your mind?
2 nights ago was the first time she ever had sex. So I don't know
Really?
if she's like, yeah, that was her first time. Her dad was the mayor of the town. It's not like
Your
he
dad
let her-
was the mayor?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I wasn't being hyperbolic.
No,
Oh.
I figured that.
He's literally an orc mayor of a town. I don't think he'd let his daughter date anyone.
Oh.
Freaking hippie.
Hey son, you see my heavy crossbow here?
Like, you see this coconut?
I understand.
I
So.
saw it.
They crushed it like it was paper.
So with that cart, can we make a little windowsill planter?
Oh yeah. Room for the apothecary, room for the potions, room for the beds. Make it nice and lyrical.
Make it the
You guys are fucking hippies.
Sons of Anarchy. A little bit for each of us.
Sounds like a good idea.
When did this idea of not getting the cart come about?
When we needed money for other things. When
Sorry about dying.
don't be sorry. Because
It happens to all.
it happens to all of us. When I realized that the money wasn't just a way of living, it was a way to stay living.
Mm.
We can put it to good use. And that use ain't me starting a business or even continuing one. That's not my life anymore. I never really needed it. It was just so I could stay under a roof and stick with my dad.
Something to do with your hands at the time.
Yeah. Something that I could stay inside and keep busy. What about you? What was your... I mean, we've talked a little bit, but all of our early lives are a little far from each other.
Yeah.
This Spellbook's your mom's, right?
Yeah, it's kind of my only memory of her. She left after I was born, and
She left before I was born.
It's like Doofenshmirtz. No one attended my birth, not even my parents.
That's so confusing. Like, did you just? No.
According to my dad, she was quite the nomad, and I thought it would be interesting to go find her.
So you're looking for her.
Yeah, but the group's mostly focused on other things. It's not. She's in this world somewhere. We'll run into her eventually.
Yeah. I'd prefer we run into your mother than... Let's not continue that, man.
As you say this, you hear the door open
Oh.
as I kind of frantically searching Yomi, Tordek, and Yako walks in. And you
Oh,
guys
hey.
see, sitting at the bar, your red and green friends.
Oh,
I
hello.
need to borrow money.
Oh my god. Speaking of.
Oh, hi.
All right,
What's this
Wolfbane.
for?
How much?
So, you know how you said we might be facing a dragon sometime?
It's a possibility.
I need a new weapon. It's a long-term investment. I will
I
assure
understand. I understand.
you. I need about $3,000. Gold.
What is that?
Gold. I need 3,000 gold.
For what?
A new weapon. And think about it this way. I mean,
What
we can
kind of
earn.
weapon?
Huh?
What kind
It's
of
a
weapon?
fan.
All right.
I
You
use it
get
to
it.
perform.
Do you get it now?
No, but I will deposit some amount, and I'll actually gain back some today, possibly. Who knows?
No.
Sure. I mean, it's not my say entirely. The party's got to have their own votes in it. But of course, yeah, I'm not opposed. We got cash. We use some of it for the cart, but plans have changed, and we won't need all of it.
And
Once the party has its say, I'm not opposed.
But
Oh,
don't we need...
One more thing. Since you're here, Brandon.
Wait, Dordex saying something.
Wait, 'cause you might be. Wait. After
Go
you're
ahead,
done.
go ahead.
Well, I was gonna mention healing stuff, the
Oh.
curses, and all that jazz.
We got to get rid of her lycanthropy. Do
We
you still have those? You don't have the braces on your arms anymore.
I
Right?
do.
He does.
As he lifts up his arm, the arm just gets.
So we got 2 curses to remove. I don't know if it needs to be. I know with Theo we had to like
You so you remember how Theo took a dive when she came back originally?
Mm-hmm. Wait, do I?
I was pretty shitty.
Yeah. And then we found out when Bozzy told us you did need an extra pepping up.
Yeah.
So we'll need to get you up to
Kill.
snuff.
We don't know how
That'll
much that's-
charge of one more of the bank. So here's
Speaking of, wait,
So?
I'm pretty sure I told you, but I'm gonna see if Nazir can help us with that, or at least have his friends help, at least sponsor us a little.
okay. So hear me out. Tordek, I obviously want to hear you saying this once my piece is done. Weapon, I like it. Good idea. Long-term investment. Helps us kill shit. Helps us stay alive. Works for me. But first, curse cured. Back to snuff. And then we get the cart. Those are things we need to survive. The weapon is supplementary, but I like the idea.
That's fine. Let me see if I can speak to Nazir, and we can get the curse removed from her. And
All right.
me.
When are we supposed to meet this guy?
Soon, hopefully.
Have you heard anything? Did you send a message out? Did you?
As you guys are talking, you see
Brandon.
Theo. Well,
Theo.
are you coming back with them or to the inn or no? Because you don't have money.
Oh no,
Do you?
I do.
You have enough money to buy a slave?
You said it was 5 gold.
Starting.
Yeah.
The thing
Oh, it's like auction
Oh,
style.
okay. I got-
cheap.
I've got 197 gold, and I've got 9
Platinum.
platinum.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
I've got about,
About 200 something.
yeah.
250.
And like, who's gonna bid on that guy? Come
Yeah.
on.
I know, you'll be surprised.
So you're not coming back to the center at all?
I mean, I wouldn't really want to have the talk with a group of, hey, guess what? I'm gonna buy another living thing.
We're gonna buy a lot, so.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't think that would go over well.
You're technically freeing him.
Yeah, but in the
Alright,
process.
so you guys don't see. You see
I'm
some
not here.
another blonde girl walking. Almost mistaking it for
Oh,
real.
what? Oh, sorry. Never mind, miss. Never mind.
Huh?
I can't. I'm not-
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
sir. Never mind.
I'm a woman.
Sorry,
Sir.
miss. Never mind. I'm sorry for both those
We-
things. Anyway,
Yes, go on.
So hopefully he arrives soon.
yeah.
I also need to have him see you so he could actually feel a little sorry.
Wait,
We're
who
gonna
is
guilt
this?
trip him.
Do I know him?
She wasn't with us during the performance, right? Or was she?
When you had the brunch?
Or were you with
We had,
Citrus?
we had the brunch with him. Oh, was that the morning? Of
That was the
Citrus?
morning of
That was
Citrus.
the morning,
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so
that
we
was
met.
Who's this?
We met this nobleman.
Uh-huh.
Really nice dude. Brought us brunch. Loves Yomi.
He
We
performed.
are going to try and milk this man for all he is worth. A
Well,
little
not
bit.
like
Well,
I mean, he's been.
He might have people.
He
It's
helps
been
us.
very
I
nice.
kid, of
to,
course. He's very nice.
You know, like he was a big fan of Yomi's performance.
Oh,
like,
and just to reiterate, to heal Theo's negative level,
500?
it was 1,000 gold piece diamond dust. So and that was for one negative level.
So, and she's got 2. Okay, so that's 2,000.
Well, because
And then another 2,000 for your curse.
Wait,
No, it's 1,000.
So that's the service fee. So 2,000 for the negative levels, then 1,000 for your curse, and 1,000 for
That's
yours.
4,000.
And then possibly another 1,000 added to the fee to perform it, because they don't just do like what?
No, the curse is
No,
1,000.
talk about diamond dust on top of the fee to perform it.
If you can prove it, yeah.
So we would need to pay for the diamond dust as well.
I'm gonna say the fee for it is 500.
Okay,
So
so
if you pay for the
then
diamond,
500 for both curses, in addition as a service fee, and
it's gonna be a dick move. I made you guys pay like 6,000.
well, we already are paying 6,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Plus.
and the
And
500 is
then-
all because of the diamond, right?
That's six grand.
I mean,
But wait, would we need to pay 500? Wait, would it be 500 per negative level? Or
Okay,
just
so
500
here's
for the
here's
whole-
what it is. It's
trying to
so
actually figure it out.
lycanthropy and bracers. That's
Yes.
a grand. Plus the 500 each to perform the service. That's another grand. Plus 1 grand per negative level.
Yes,
So that's
it's
5. So that's where we stand.
And then
We got
5,000 left.
at least 5.
technically 6. We still got a grand in the party loot.
Yes.
And I got a chunk of change on the person if we
Get
need
a
it.
small
What
amount.
about the medical expense? We
That's
already-
taken.
That's already
That was-
All in your resurrection.
That
That's
we
what we
got
used
yeah,
to swing your service.
yes, which they gave us on the spot.
Yeah.
And
Thanks for that, swamp
speaking
son
of,
of a bitch.
yes, and speaking of that swap of the bitch, what about the money?
What about the money? Oh, that's
When
right.
are we
Yeah.
when are we going to do
I
it?
got I got the
Anything new?
rent. I just head over to the
Okay.
bank, zip zap zop, bring it back. We're good.
Perfect.
Should we do that sooner than later?
Well, we're gonna have to pay for things with money, so yes.
Yes.
All right. So who wants to get it right now? I need to wait for Nazir.
I'll go get it. Hey Tordik, you mind coming with me?
All right.
Cool.
I'll stay and meet Nazir.
So both cursed people are staying back to talk to Nazir.
Yeah.
Do you want to go with them, or do you want to stay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
you
sure.
guys
What?
want some
Do-
firewater?
You want to do this or that? Yes.
Yeah.
Did you both?
I don't mean to preempt you, Biako. You mind if I take my man here for
Private guy time.
yeah.
Okay, private cat time's cool.
So they also go to the bathhouse.
I don't judge for whatever happens.
As you're saying this, you kind of see over their shoulder the cat people are now sitting at a table like with like 3 bags of gold on top of it.
Oh my. They must have made
Slowly
some
eating the back of gold.
They're still doing the tap tap
I'm
tap,
buying drinks
like
today.
drinking
So they got
with like
milk.
one big fish on the table.
One big.
So they must.
Oh yeah.
They
No.
must have made big.
So
What are you doing?
you guys decide to stay
Okay.
to wait for Nazir. Do you want to go to the Immaculate Repository or do you want to go stay here and talk to the guy? And this is the guy that brought you to the inn in the first place.
She'll buy you a glass of milk.
Maddie's been spoiled.
I
No milk,
don't
no
know. He's
taste
been
of sweet.
spoiled by what we did.
I am more curious about the dancing though.
All right, so
So
you stay there. You two head out, right? All right, so you two head out. Theo, what are you doing between now, which is 10 a.m., till 3, which is when they're going to do the sale?
Golly, I don't know.
House of Whips.
I feel like at this hour it would be at its like really like.
Slow.
Yeah, it's like the Tuesday of
You don't go to the red light district on a Thursday morning. I learned that while I was in the red light district on Thursday morning. School trip. To
Yes.
the detour that
What are
was.
they?
Totally school trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she
Yeah.
says.
It
Yeah.
was though, but
Fire
like
day.
we were on a tour and like, okay, we should probably like avoid this
It's
area.
actually a Friday.
And I was like, yeah, probably.
Awesome.
But we're on off day right now.
I would just sort of like to
See 18.
listen around like how the whole slave process goes about.
You notice as you kind of go about watching things, the clerics they kind of continued their duties for the day as they walked over to a different shipment of slaves, seeing. You see one large crate, and you hear as you see chains are being pulled back and forth from inside. As you look through the window, you see a troll inside, like reaching out and kind of lashing at people. You see a number of kennels being carried around with different animals, snakes and stuff like that, kind of stacked up. You notice that slaves, animals, and any beasts and livestock are being stacked up. And you see a man kind of clad in robes that just does not show any features. Gray, kind of not sullied robes, but just gray ashen robes that seem to blend into the distance. Seems to be looking at the snakes as they're being stacked in front of him, as he seems to be twitching his fingers, like almost in a calculating fashion, watching him do the stuff. And you see gold trading hands a lot in this docks district. You hear certain people speaking in broken Avestani and Kaleshi about the slave blocks, what time the show is, the show being their word for the sales, and when they should be called, when this slave would go up, what's the starting bid, some starting from like 10 to 15 gold, others starting at thousands of gold pieces for a working specimen. You see a number of rich merchants walking through the area, kind of examining the wares, and you see a number of more mundane-looking people with scrolls, kind of taking note of what is arriving in the docks that day. And they seem to finish something, rolled up, tuck it away, and run off back to the Dawngate district. Right now, you don't see a lot of activity happening with interactions of sale, more so of paying for goods and services rendered to set up the sale for the day. A number of Zephyr Guard keep a perimeter watch of this large, bustling market area that kind of stems off into various streets, and just stay very close by. And you see those golems that you saw the first day the second day you came in. It's almost doubled up in this area. There's almost a golem at every corner, whereas instead of every other corner, every third corner.
With the menagerie out, you gotta. And
you see they all just seem vigilant, to be vigilantly watching. Let me see. Roll me a D100, a percentile die.
Golly.
How many Catapeshian bees swarm you?
One.
Is Theo allergic?
Let's find out.
She's about to find out, yeah.
59.
Oh,
59.
One away from the greatest number.
So,
50.
He meant like one movement.
Oh.
you hear a large bustling as people are saying, make way.
Okay.
One of the Packmasters come. As you push off to the side, you see this large, tall, almost 6 foot, 6.5 foot tall figure walking through the streets as almost this horse-like mask covers his face that almost goes from his head down to the midriff of his body, and it loops back with almost like a flange. That fin that goes down his back, and you see he's covered from head to toe in robes. As he walks through, the eyes are glowing as it turns and watches everyone, and you see the Zephyr Guard that walks with him have much more ornate swords, and behind each one of those Zephyr Guard is a golem, and there seems to be 6 of them. So there are 6 guards and 6 golems each following this Packmaster, and the Packmaster wears a medallion that has 6 glowing runes on it. You see none of those Zephyr Guards seem to be carrying the same medallion that the commanders seem to be coming in. And as he walks through the area, you see all of the golems activate from their post and stand at attention as he walks through, almost as if his presence and the presence of his personal amulet activates all the golems in the area. As he turns and just walks through, he says nothing. And the people almost all kind of back down and look away from him.
Yeah, do that.
You avert your gaze as they walk through, and he makes his way through this region, and everything continues like normal. The golems go back into their resting position, and the guards take back up their posts, turning back towards the market itself.
Yes, that was definitely that equine dude, right?
That was one of the packmasters.
Yeah, he's horse themed. So.
No, they you don't. It was not a horse mask. It looks like a long, like elongated mask.
Look almost as.
I have a picture of the packmasters
Did
actually.
you have the urge to ask him why the long face?
You want her to die?
I didn't say she was gonna do it.
That's Tara, not Theo.
God, any one of us would be dead in this world so quick.
I know.
So much
Probably
flash.
all of us.
That's the packman. That's the.
Oh, hello, Satan.
Looks like Cthulhu.
Yeah.
The dinosaur.
Dinosaur Cthulhu.
And I don't think they have a.
Would we have survived the first session at
Yeah,
all, but
So, this man passes by, and or this being passes by. You don't know gender or anything like from it. As everything just continues as normal, nothing seems to be out of the ordinary.
Am I still with like the group of clerics?
Do you see the clerics are off, like examining other
People in need.
slaves that have come in? Did you still want to do stuff with them?
They are in need.
Are you gonna buy
Yeah.
a slave?
Yeah, I'm going to, but that's not till 3. I've got like hours to spend.
Oh.
She's got time.
Go on
Yeah.
Space Mountain, get some fries.
So yeah, I'll
Get
just
that
continue
pass.
with that.
Maybe
So you
Right.
continue going through, giving the blessings and ablutions to the different slaves. There were a couple of children that, rather than washing them, it was more of a comforting and trying to promise, not make any promises, but to try to keep their hopes up. You hear some of the priests giving more realistic, like, you must be strong. Do not falter in your strength, and you must get stronger. Like freedom may not be soon, but it will come. Others will just blatantly, you hear like, your salvation will come, and as long as you keep faith. Like there are different levels of faith, and there are different levels of realism in what each one of them says. And when it comes to the children, you don't see. You see Ratina just silently kind of like caresses them, and just you hear her humming something as she just kind of eases their mind, and you see the child that she's talking to like just closes their eyes and kind of leans into her and just gets whatever rest it can before its next step. And again, 15 minutes pass, and they cart those kids away. A pack of gnolls are brought. You see a pack of gnolls actually dragged in this large-looking hound creature that is trying to pull away from everyone, and it looks very familiar to something you faced before, the blink dogs in the desert.
Whoa.
And you see it tries to flicker, but as it tries to displace itself, gnolls yank, and it's almost as the chain pulls it out of its focus and concentration as they whip it. And
With the kid.
the gnoll turns towards you.
I don't say that, Tara.
Oh my God.
It doesn't work unless a person says whip it. But like, what would Theo know of Devo?
My God. So
Let's see, most likely of any of us to know of Devo. Probably Yomi.
Yeah.
Should we need a roll for that?
the gnolls
Wow.
like kind of get
It's
through
not
and
a bad thing.
put this blink dog in a kennel, and you see they lock it, and a man walks up with a small stone and taps it on the cage, and you see this extra dimensional runes just appear, and it seems to be a planar binding amulet that he just leaves on the actual cage itself, and the blink dog like settles and just is resigned to its current position. So that's the rest of your day.
Yeah.
Until the
It's
slave.
like super depressing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Life sucks.
That's religion for you.
But mine's slightly better than theirs.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's religion for you.
Yes, exactly true.
So,
Both fronts.
Tordek and Sean. then.
Hell yeah, tall and small. Let's go.
It's alright.
So you guys make your way through the town.
I want to like make our way, but that's halfway to the repository. I just want to stop and say, man,
Yeah.
what are you, man? I gotta ask. I mean, I'm sorry, this is out of the blue, but your beard is flat. And last night, inside Travis and Truthers, you walked out with Brand's body over your shoulder like it was nothing. That man gave you the sorriest fucking look I've seen, and you brushed it off like it was nothing. What are you, man?
I mean, just someone that, of course, like heard all the traditional tales of orcs bad, goblins bad, like the traditional hate-filled rhetoric. Grew up with it, but all the time on my journey before I met all of you, learned that most of what I read was, I mean, kind of true, but a lot was just the tales, to be honest. And it's just a point where it's just like, you gotta really know someone before you can judge them. And obviously, a Brand's great friend, great companion, great fighter, and it's just got to the point where Vitalis and Chester just don't want to tolerate that kind of stuff anymore. Just like learn to see beyond the whole traditional hatred.
You don't know how much that... You can't just brush that off like it's nothing, man. I'm damn impressed. I grew up in a town where I was dog shit. And to see someone like you just say, I'm good with everything, that's impressive to me.
Yeah.
I respect it.
Yeah, like I also learned to fend for myself, so I learned to fend off, and then of course we ran into a few people, helped out. So it's just honestly, it's just helping out people in need, and clearly those two were talking very poor about my companion, which I don't take too kindly to in general.
Yeah.
So when they start insulting, I can either deliver it back or choose to ignore it. And I pick my battles when they're needed. In that particular instance, I chose it wasn't even worth giving them time of day because they're never going to change their ways. They're definitely older than I am.
Hell, they're probably dead already.
Well, you can only hope so.
You say this in the middle of the street.
I didn't name anyone.
I mean, we can only hope so about that. But
You see, like as you're talking and walking, a Zephyrguard kind of just looks over and just.
But listen, Tordek.
Yeah.
I needed to tell you that I appreciate you. I appreciate that, especially. I think that that's something you shouldn't lose. No matter what happens to us, I've decided that in the future, I gotta find the joy. Because otherwise, what do we got? What do we got as a group if we can't find the joy? And that is what we need. We need your attitude among everyone else's attitudes. We need to support each other, and that is an important part of it.
yeah, very
So
much
I
so.
respect it and I
Why,
appreciate it.
thank you. I mean, we all have our reasons why we're here, and we've all been traveling for months
Yeah.
now. It's we gotta stick together. This is the. I mean, I've been with my family for who knows how long, but now I've lost track of the days. But all of you, you're my family. Gotta watch out for all of you. Protect everyone. If I can.
I just You don't have to tell me the whole story, but you got folks. You never really told us. Mama and Papa, they like shit.
Mother and father have got older sister back home. But...
Tordek and Ben, I need you guys to roll me perception checks.
I think I'm going
I mean, this is what I get for perception dumping.
11. 16, non-natural 20.
A child seems to run through the streets, being chased by a couple other children as he bumps into you, Ben. And he kind of looks up at you, and you see what looks like a small bag in his hand as he runs off. And did you carry a coin purse with you?
Yeah.
You kind of pat down as he's running away. You feel that he has your coin purse.
Here comes the fun part. Hey, kid!
Goodness.
Oh no, you ain't getting away that easy. Wings fly.
No. You fly up or you fly straight?
Straight.
And what's your fly speed?
It's the spell fly, so I think it's 60 or
60 and good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good or perfect?
It might be perfect. Let me check.
So, either way, the kid starts weaving in and out of people, and you are flying with giant wings.
Oh no, then I would go over. If it's through people, I don't want to barrel through.
This kid's running through people, so
this is Jeeper Creeper. All over again.
You say this, and you see that as they run down the street, the other kids also run past you.
And while I'm going, I say, "Fun game of tag, kid. If it were anything else, you might be in trouble, but it's a fun game of tag. You better stop so I can be it."
So, Tordek, what do you do as he yells this?
I'm gonna go
Murder some children.
Well, I'm murdering children. Oh god.
I call upon Marshall.
No, I'm going. I mean, what I've noticed that.
You definitely notice the kid run off, and you as that kid run off, seconds later, 5 other kids run past you and like clump up with him, and they almost jumble as they split into the crowd.
Wow, these kids are like
Well organized shitheads.
I mean, I probably would have. I mean, I'm gonna first feel and see if I notice anything on.
You did not seem to get targeted by this one. It was Ben's many pockets.
What I've seen, like his stuff being.
What?
How much did you carry with you?
Would I've seen his stuff being taken?
Yeah.
No,
definitely.
I didn't have the party fun.
You saw the kid's hand go in the
Keep
pocket.
that in the room.
And
yeah,
like,
so I probably seeing that like would have tried to follow.
All right. So
after I'm like obviously seeing Ben leaving, I've gone after.
And I'm trying to get across to the kid that if I shout thief, he's in trouble, but I haven't shouted thief yet.
So you, flying above us, are following. So there is 5. There are 5 kids.
Yeah.
You see 2 of them disappear into the crowd, and 3 of them are like they try to get in, but the crowd denses up, and they have to run around the crowd. So the 2 that disappear into the crowd, I need you to make perception checks to see if you see them.
Nope, that's.
What's it?
It's a 19.
Ooh, 23.
10, 11.
Neither of you guys see the kids who dove into the crowd.
Oh, I
Gone.
rolled 23. Fuck.
One's a natural 20, the other rolled a 19.
Fuck.
So the 3 that are kind of caught on the side, they're trying to look for a way to get through the crowd.
Just get one of them and then.
I got 6
interrogate
minutes
them.
of this flight, so I'm just going for the nearest one.
So you swoop down and you pick the kid up, or do you swoop down? It's like,
do I have a beat on if I think any one of the 3 I can see might be the kid that took my coins?
let's see, it's a 1 in 5 chance, so it's a 1 in 20 chance, right?
Yes.
Yes. So
Monty Hall, go away.
let's say if it's a 1 in, it's 1 in 5 chance. That's
Percentile.
Yeah, it's a percentile dice, so it's a 20% chance. So, no, none of these kids seem to be the one that.
All right, then I'll just find one and.
So you land and you see this
I'll get my hands on his shoulders, like not let him get away, but I'm not trying to.
It's a huskier looking kid, like bulky and like he's like
It's a fat kid.
Yeah.
and like he's like trying to squeeze, like push people out of the way.
Hey, son. Stop and hush.
Give me an intimidation check.
Nope.
He's a freaking devil.
Apparently
I got
not.
advantage because I look like.
There's no
Satan.
such thing as advantage. You get a +2 on that. What'd you roll?
I rolled a 1.
So you, the
Oh,
kid
no.
with your intimidation, what's that?
What? Plus 2 is 12.
12. The kid doesn't seem to be phased. He also swings out at you. 11 + 2, 13. Nope. You see this kid is bulky because at his age he has muscle.
Yeah.
And he's just looking at you.
I dodge out low and I say, "Ooh, that was a good swing. You want to lose that hand? I can shout thief right now. Otherwise,
I did not steal anything. I was just playing with
you
my friends.
didn't, but your friends did.
You cannot prove that I have stolen anything.
No, I can't. But can you leave me your friend?
Why? What would that get me?
Your arm.
He's touching me! And you see he starts yelling, "He's touching me! Help! Help!" And you see the guards kind of turn around and it's a kid yelling at the
Wow.
Yeah, I'm staring at the kid.
On an unrelated note, pedophilia in the city is skyrocketed.
It's more of this kid is poor and they don't care.
Tell you what, kid.
Poor pedophilia has
Hey,
skyrocketed.
I'll give you a third of the coin purse that was stolen from me if you get me back to it. And I'll let you count it before I give you the money, so you know I'm not cutting you short. How much is that worth?
That's a valid question.
He thinks about it. How much gold is in it?
Yep. 180. 60 gold in your pocket.
Deal.
All right. If you get me to the coin purse, and all of it's there.
You kind of see him look around. Keep an eye on me,
All right.
but keep your distance.
Tordek, are you with me at this point?
Tordek, you catch up and you see Ben is like holding onto this kid as people have given you guys a wide berth as you're interrogating.
So I was.
My new
Go
friend
what?
here is
Or-
going to lead us to the coin purse.
And he kind of looks at you as like, but first, I apologize for this. It kicks you square in the nuts. As you kind of go down, he kind of looks back at you and runs off, and he makes eye contact with you.
Follow that kid. He's going to lead us there. That's
He-
going to cost him 10 gold.
He bolts off, and
That's
you
me.
kind of follow at a good distance.
Yeah.
He's pacing himself so that,
So that we can see.
you can see. But I mean, even if he gets away with the money.
Yeah.
So you make your way through a number of different cities and alleys, city streets and alleyways, and you find yourself at like the shantytown looking area, probably like three homes away from the Immaculate Repository, and kind of in the dumpster area between these homes. And you see the muscular kid is waiting at the end of the alleyway, and he kind of points inside. They're probably going to be at the end of the hall, the end of the street,
Why don't you walk with me?
because these are my friends. That 60 gold will go to feed us for a good year. But they are not going to know that I sold them out. Devil man.
Damn.
Oh, I'm sorry. Does the red displease you?
It's a little disgusting.
Oh.
Go. As he runs off.
You get used. Okay.
Sorry for the impromptu field trip. But let's go.
Let's do this.
All right.
You guys
Hopefully
walk.
without violence.
You guys walk down. You see 5 boys, and you see the muscular kid kind of running in from a different street on the far side, and he kind of groups up with them as you 2 walk in.
Howdy, kids.
Hello.
How did you find us?
I'm very good. I also would like my gold back.
Fine. And you see the kid, like the taller kind of looking kid, and pulls out the gold pouch. He's like, here you go.
I'm gonna count it.
There's only like 30 gold in there.
I want the rest.
I mean, give me an intimidation check.
Come on.
I will bring the place to the ground.
Yes, I'm good at this. I'm
Okay.
good at this.
Okay.
Bald eagle style.
Math. 15.
15.
14.
Let's see. Let's see how for these kids. I'll just nope. That's the first kid. Second kid. Nope. You see the kid who gave it to you. It looks over at another, and then kind of a shorter boy, and they kind of sigh. Fine. As they each pull out a little satchel and put it in your hand, or they pour it into the actual bag.
I think it's all there.
Yeah, it looks like 160 gold pieces.
I said
Did
170.
Oh, you said 170?
Yeah.
I heard
I
180.
eat them
I heard
right. Yeah,
180. I wrote down
Yeah,
180.
So it was 180,
Okay.
180 gold
All right.
pieces.
I look at it and I
Actually, it
say,
was
You
200.
guys, you guys swindled the DM for cheater money.
we kind of reversed that.
I'm going back.
I look at it and I say, all right, now ask me for it nicely.
You see, two of them are extremely confused as they look at each other, and the one with like the muscular-looking boy who looks younger, oddly enough, than the other two who are standing right in front of you. It's like kind of like looks around. May we please have the gold?
Sure, yeah. Parse it out, hand it to each of them, save 60 in the last sack, and I kind of, I don't give them all. I keep the 60. I look to that kid and like, and I know I'm gonna find him somewhere out there. And I say, I don't need it. You'll need it more than I do.
Thank you. Look, we are not used to doing this without an effort. So, do you need anything from us?
I mean,
We're not dying.
And no, just kidding. Oh no, I was gonna have like Blood Rage Ben come out and just.
Oh, no.
Wait, like Anakin and the younglings?
Yeah.
Where did Jody get the gold back in?
Murder all younglings.
Wait, leave the 111 out.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. You know, when you know any folks I could talk to get a good cart but cheap, like not shitty cart, but good deal.
Yeah, look at each other. We can find you a cart and bring it to where you live.
Okay,
That sounding like
I'm talking like, you know, a covered wagon kind of thing. You know, like that.
Oh.
Some people would stay inside. You know,
Hmm.
because that's what I need, right? I need like a.
You might find that outside in the dog towns. More likely, people out there travel a lot more, and people park their carts out there.
What if I wanted to buy one?
I'm sure someone would sell you their cart.
All right, and I'll be honest. If I'm a tourist in this town, and I want to know something that would help keep us alive.
Alive from
anything. Something that you look at the people who walk through this town and think, oh, that gunner's gonna bite it tomorrow. What would you suggest?
Don't get caught doing anything bad in front of the Zephyr Guard. They say that those giant clay things outside the houses, they say they eat the soul of children.
Jesus
The
Christ.
people that have gone missing say that if you're not good, they will eat your soul.
Well, it probably ain't true, but I understand the myth.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
try
you-
to avoid that.
You avoid it regardless.
Yeah.
Didn't even know there was a
Line.
cat.
All right. You all have a good day.
They kind of nod at you, and they all like turn around and run off. And as they run off, you see the kind of bulky one like almost back jogs.
As I turn around, I distinctly throw it over my shoulder and hear the coins toss to the ground and go, "Oh no, must have dropped it."
And you just hear the clinking of coin that as they disappear off into the distance. You guys make it to the Immaculate Repository without issue after that. And you enter in with the invoice.
I don't need it.
You see
We
one of the tellers kind of walks up to you as you present the invoice. It's like, yes, 10,000 gold pieces would be quite a hefty sum to carry out of the repository. Would you like to take it in platinum or keep it within the city as credit and have creditors come and collect their sums from here?
We're going to be spending a shit ton in the city. It might actually be a good idea to keep it here as like in-city credit, kind of.
I mean,
that wouldn't be the worst. Yeah, I'll talk. Yeah, that wouldn't be the worst, right?
No.
Need to let them know that
We're gonna spend at least half of it just getting rid of our shit, and then cart supplies.
Yeah. Is this something that we could change our mind on later? Like,
Yeah,
if we choose to do
If
credit
you
now,
need
but
to,
we
If we
you
start
already
in
rested
credit, we
before.
can withdraw.
You can come and withdraw it. But if you're going to leave it here, you see he reaches into a drawer and pulls out a number of what looks like different seals. And first he like sets up all this paperwork and is like, you sign, put your company name and everything, name under the account. And you see he stamps the seal on this one unique seal onto all of your paperwork, collects it and scrolls it up and puts it away. And then you see he takes the seal, puts it on one platform as it looks almost like a giant scale, as another seal that's exactly identical appears on the other one. He hands that one to you. He's like, that is your seal of purchasing. Anywhere that you are going to use it to essentially make a purchase, instead of charging you, they will give you an invoice. You may stamp that upon their invoice, and they may bring it here upon collect.
Okay, so I have a personalized stamp.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is attached to the account. If you should overspend, when you leave the town, you are going to be requested to return the seal if you still have it upon you.
And pay the excess.
And any excess that has been spent would be required for you to pay, or else we will repossess what it is.
Right.
Yes. But if there's any left over, we can grab. Like I said, we can withdraw that.
Yes.
Okay.
So essentially, it's a credit card.
Yeah, it's a debit card.
Yeah.
With no overdraft protection.
Yeah.
Just like an actual bank.
Yeah, there's no overdraft protection on this debit card. So
what
you guys walk out knowing that you have
all that
10,000
stuff.
gold in the bank.
And
write
just
this
as I
down
walk
so I
out,
keep
one
track.
last thing to Tordek. I snap my fingers, go, oh, almost forgot.
Hmm?
Pull out of my breast pocket a vial, burgundy red liquid, purple swirls throughout. Keep it on your person. Keep it safe for when you need it.
Will do.
All right, so you hand him a potion.
Yeah, I tell it's a potion of cure moderate ones. I tell you what it is.
As it fades out on you guys back to the inn, you three are waiting, and you just hear the purrings of those cat people again. And it's like, that was a good sale. Yes, we made much money. It's like, and one purr is just like sleep. Like
Bianco's listening. He's like, oh no, that guy. He's just asleep. Yeah.
It's weird because it's like defining the purrs to a snore is like very, very minimal and changes in intonation.
I'm imagining it like trying to know what
So it's like different
R2D2 is saying.
Yeah.
or something.
But it's almost as if these people did not move from where they sat, but somehow conducted enough business to gain all that gold that's in front of them right now.
What's our secret? It's our fur, isn't it?
Probably had somebody come into that.
There's an extra dimensional space.
They're like,
You know those good fortune cats that money just comes to?
Yeah.
They're like those cats, like every time you look away, more money just appears. As you guys are talking and drinking, you hear a, yes, I am here to see my friend. Yes, there he is. Hello.
Oh, hi.
Yes.
Come, sit.
He comes over and is like, it is so good to have heard from you. I thought that you were going to be away for much longer, but I am glad that you are back. No performance the night before, no?
Well, about that, I actually came to talk to you about at least something. We actually come across a little bit of an issue. See, my friend Brand went here. Me and her
Awkward
actually.
way.
You say that
Her
actually. Awkward way.
We actually came into quite a pickle. We're both under an ailment. She's cursed with lycanthropy, and I'm cursed with these things. And I was hoping that, like, you could. Erase her.
Do you need us to remove your hands?
No, I need you to remove the bracers.
He kind of grabs on your hand, just like,
No. They're cursed. No.
This is like
I was gonna ask if your friends that you were talking about earlier would be so kind as to sponsor us a little bit, just a little bit of their, just a little bit of their charity to us.
we are not people of charity. I'm sorry about that. There's some kind of confusion. We truly enjoy the art that you bring to the town. We greatly appreciate the arts. We are art connoisseurs, if you might think. I see theater quite often. I have friends who are theater artists.
Yes.
But,
Imagine you enjoy it quite a bit.
I believe that what you're looking for, the services are eclectic. I do not know how I can help with this.
I would say at least bring enough people, enough to at least help both of us. If you can spread the word and at least coordinate a time or a date, whichever, to have me perform and see if we can collect the rewards.
Give me a diplomacy check.
So you're asking him to be your producer?
Ooh, that's a 35.
How fuck did you roll?
19.
Jesus fuck. He kind of looks at you. It's like,
I'm attracted to you.
well,
across the
I guess
sea.
if it's not the charity, if you're going to be performing, when, for what day?
Let's do today.
Tonight. I will see what I can muster up, but whatever cause that you are trying to do, I don't know if it will be enough money, but I will try what I can. Yes?
Thank you. Also, try to see if you could contact the River of Styx. They helped me a little.
oh no.
I do not know this band name, but I will try to see if I can find them. So,
Thank you for remembering.
you see him kind of pull out a small scroll and just write something down. It's like River Styx.
We are sponsored by a small garage band.
A small private performance with. Where are you going to perform?
What do you want? Where do you think we should perform? You know the city more than I do.
Come to the same place that you normally perform in. Actually, you know what? I am going to rent out the Golden Scarab stage and see if we can get people there for tonight, and I will see if I can get pre-admission tickets. Yeah. Of course, pre-admission. So I'm putting down 1,000 gold pieces of my own money. I'm hoping that you'll be able to make back at least that in triplicate, and I will take 10% of all.
Sounds fair.
So 10% goes to me, and then first 1,000 gold pieces will also go to me to repay for the actual venue itself.
All right.
But I will leave selling tickets to you.
Okay.
So
Selling tickets. That means I need to sell tickets. Oh boy.
or at least generate interest in time.
Okay.
So you have a day since you asked for it
Oh my gosh.
today.
Yeah.
You're trying to.
You can still change the night.
She wanted. Actually, let's do tomorrow night.
All right, very well. Tomorrow night. Very well. So I shall inquire with Jack Rebel to see if they have a room available in their performance slots. But I will see you tomorrow night there. I am very excited, my friend. And if you have any other performers, we would love to see them too. Just make sure they're at least as good as yourself.
Okay.
Bye.
So everyone just fades into darkness.
I'll turn into a tree on stage.
Wow. I
Yako.
can make a theater joke about playing tree number 2.
As Jaraz kind of stands up, like, excuse me, I actually see some of the people I need to do some business with, so I will be right back.
Okay.
Or actually, if we are done here, I will leave after this. But yes, please take care of yourself. You look like you need some vitamins or something. You're very pale. I'm sorry to say this.
You're looking a little green.
As he steps away,
That's
you see he
how
walks
she's
over to
not.
the cat people, and you see he like is all eccentric about meeting them, and he kind of like reaches out, and each one of them pats their paw on his hand once, and like he like waves over a seat, and you see the Zephyr Guard pulls him a seat up as he starts talking, and then you see he pulls out a sack of coin and puts it on the
I
table,
like this guy.
and just like bows to all of them
Cool dude.
as he walks away. And you hear the purring, and it's like another successful sale. Yes.
Wow!
Look at you.
Their NPCs, they've only got a certain amount of dialogue. Have you heard about the dragon in town? I used to be an adventurer like you.
Boss,
Have you heard of the high elves?
Okay.
I hear monsters are back in town.
Joe, have you heard of the high elves?
You see one of the bigger cats kind of like shuffles out and gets up, and just like his fur just kind of bounces as he walks up the stairs.
This reminds me of freaking
I thought
Totoro.
they were
Wait,
out of business.
there no.
Yeah.
He looks like he's going for a nap. I don't think he cares. You see the Zephyr Guards trying to stop him, like.
Oh look, there's a beanbag in the hallway. Oh,
It's like at least the other. He's like at least the others are asleep at the table. He kind of just sits back and just watches their stuff.
Guessing it just
Bradley,
Guessing it happens often.
you can fly, right?
As an animal.
A little bit of happy thoughts.
If we're gonna spread the word and
Pixie dust.
get us both cured, I have an idea, but I need your cooperation.
What do you mean?
I
I mean,
need
if it's
you-
gonna help the party, I'm willing to help.
We're gonna spread the word by basically having you turn into a big bird, and basically we're gonna
Big yellow, standing, long beak.
We're gonna make a giant bird, whichever you can do, and you're gonna basically carry flyers, and you're gonna go around town dropping them.
Oh my God, you're just.
Hello, have you heard of our Lord and Savior?
The traveler is with you. Oh my God. As you are talking, the door opens and you see a person dressed very similar to Byako walks in, but this is a human, bald, dark skin, robes and kind of bands tied up on their fists as they kind of look around. And Byako, you notice this is to be a monk who's also walked in right now, as he kind of looks around the room and kind of locks eyes with your table and walks over. It's like, and he sees you all. It's like, I heard that one of you are with the Order of the Monks. Yes?
I said the cat.
He looks down at you. Is like, yes. I am one of the members of the Order of Aurori in the town. I heard that you had entered into the bay the other day. Would like to just welcome you. Let you know that there are duties here for a monk, should you choose.
Go back to being dead.
Wow!
No!
Jeez, that got dark fast.
You see the monk kind of just if you choose to want to begin your pilgrimage in this city, we have things that you can help achieve over the next couple of weeks. But there's no need for you to rush. I know you're trying to get acclimated, trying to learn what you can. But you can meet me in the docks district by where you had first arrived. Come there when you're ready. He turns to both of you and bows and steps out. You guys are done. Back over to Thea. Reaching into roughly about afternoon, you see that the slave block has begun to generate a lot more buzz as a number of noble men start arriving, noble women. You see each one of them are merchants wearing different levels of silks and fabrics that just seem to be staring up at the slave block. Many of them are brought chairs as they sit down, and you see up in one of the buildings that same robed figure steps out with the mask and sits on this stool that is brought out for them as they preside over the actual purchasing of the slaves. The slave masters bring out the first exhibit, a troll. They talk about how this creature has the strength of 10 men and has the ability to withstand any damage, perfect for protecting your homes or private locations of mines or anything like that. Starting bid would be 15,000 gold pieces. The bid goes around 2 or 3 merchants, as finally one merchant just bids roughly about what would be equivalent of 5,000 gold pieces in currency and in cattle and trade and materials. The troll is sold and they are given the rights and the soldiers to relocate it. Goes by, same thing happens with the blink dog, which is actually bought by the packmaster himself. A representative was in the crowd who brings it up to them.
Is the packmaster there in the crowd
The
too?
packmaster's up in one of the buildings, like off a little bit, but watching
He's
everything.
got the balcony seat.
Yeah.
Of course.
And you see the kind of sentient creatures that you had washed and prepared. The children are the first on the block. As they come up, you see a number of different people offer up for a lot of the merchantry stores and stuff like that. The guards are keeping a close watch on the crowd. You notice as they look back and forth constantly for people who might have insidious motives. But even then, you see like what is considered insidious is not even a definition here.
Yeah.
Like people are just buying them like they're just cattle.
Like I was wondering if it would be better for me to wear the dress that I have, or if, like what I'm wearing.
You notice that it is.
Is it just
It's a
anyone?
huge spatter of different types of people.
Okay, yeah.
You see some commoners, for some of the like children that don't really get higher prices. You see a more modest looking couple, older.
Like something like akin to
Yeah,
the
it
style
might.
that I would wear.
Yeah, and you see they actually offer a small sum. Like when it starts out at like a 10 gold, you see a couple like bids 10 gold, and you see it's an older looking couple, and you see a number of couples there that seem to be like separated from the rest of the crowd, and they're more there to see if they can adopt a child if they could, but they can only bid up to like 10 gold, and most of the children go up to like 50,000 gold pieces.
That's a weird exhibit of magneticism.
Like it's a very small group. Yeah. But most of them just still being sold to the higher end merchants who are looking for slaves. The packmaster also ends up buying one of the children a kind of white-haired boy with very pale skin, but the eyes are just crystal blue. The packmaster bought him for 100,000 gold pieces.
Oh.
Dang.
I mean, kid, be proud.
You can see the range, if not properly bid, can go very, very high just because of the competitiveness of the bid. But you see now going into the human, like the block of adult sapient creatures, more people have arrived to get just general slaves. But this one ranges a lot more. People don't want to get someone who's this age but are broken. A lot of them are like they range from anywhere from 100 gold to like 50,000 gold just for a working class slave. And it goes through. You see the half elf, like the elves are bought at an average of 30 to 50,000. The dwarves are bought from an average of 25 to 45,000. Humans are bought for a good average 15,000 just because their lifespans are so short. They can't really be passed down from generation to generation. You get to like the gnomes and the halflings. Their prices are a lot more limited just because their stature doesn't make them good for labor. But you see a lot of people buy them for gestures and to be jokes or some type of demeaning task. And it gets to Marcus Lotso, who is the halfling that you had appraised. And you hear the slave master yell out, like, beginning with this small one, diminished in sight. He does not see very well. Average intelligence, if not a bit higher. And as he says this, you hear him says average intelligence. And he can't see you in the crowd. It's
Wild arm movements. Be humble.
He's like, sir, excuse me, I have a degree from one of the most prestigious colleges in Avestan. And he looks at us like, according to the little one, he has a degree. So, starting bid, you see, write something on his paper, 50 gold pieces. And you see one person, so you bid for 50 gold pieces. Someone else sees this and is like, 75 gold pieces for the little one.
80.
Another person in the far back is like, does he do numbers? And the slave master is like, do you do numbers?
Oh no!
Oh, come on, how smart are you, buddy?
Come on,
Bad.
dude.
He's like smart, but is he
How
wise?
badly do you
He's
want?
gonna fuck this up. I'm trying to.
You see, he's like,
You're doing
I am a poet?
Oh, the price is gonna drop.
Oh my goodness!
He's got a liberal arts degree.
He's like, he does poetry. He's an artist. And you see that same man who like asked that just kind of sits back down. As someone else is like, arte, very well, 85 gold pieces.
90.
90 gold pieces for the half-elven warrior. Anyone else? Someone else kind of looks up and is like, what can he lift? And you see the halfling like, nothing. You see no one else. I was like, see someone. No, it's the 65.
Oh.
You see someone else kind of looks up at it. It's like, I need a new jester. 95.
100.
There's only so
You
many.
would be a pretty funny jester.
Yeah. You see someone else in the back. Oh, that same man is like 110.
120.
Damn.
Oh my.
Oh,
Good.
where's Big Hoss?
All out war.
So that's a 100%. So, what else do you do? And you see the same message. Like, it doesn't look like it does much in my eyes. And the halfling, you see, he like opens his mouth again. He's like, no, I don't do anything. And then the gentleman who was trying to bid against you was like, I'm good, whatever. Whatever, I pass. The slave master looks around and is like, very well, at 120, 120, going once, going twice, sold to the half-elven woman. You see they remove his bonds as there. You see a Zephyr guard kind of points at you and signals you up. You come to a table and they look at you like, do you have a brand that you would like us to stamp him with? We need something to prove that you own him.
Theo was here.
Probably just a middle finger, like honestly.
Oh yeah. Wow.
You see,
we have that one. It's a standard.
Oh wait. What's our symbol?
Oh yeah.
I'll just have like a little sun.
Yeah.
very well. You see, the man holding the brand holds
It's
it
like
over.
they're really little. Like I don't want.
Maybe like
anything
this
too
sounds
big.
like Serenade though. Maybe like an A.
You see,
I don't know.
a man in robes.
Yeah.
His hand starts glowing as he touches the rod, and the ball at the end changes shape into what, an A or what, the sun?
Sun or an A?
Just like an A and a sun.
So you see it becomes this rounded out shape, and it hollows out, and you see an A form inside, and little beams spread out on the rim of it. And walks over to him. He's like, "Where do you want the brand?" Normally we put it on their face so it can be seen by all that you own him.
Chest.
Just on the arm.
All right. Yeah, you see.
That's an easy place to get burned, right?
You see, they jab it in, and there's almost like no pain whatsoever. You don't even hear a sizzle, and you see it. He removes it, and it almost is like an arcane burn there. Like it's painless, but it still marks the skin. And he's like, "Very well." He picks him up and puts him on a table. Puts him on the scale. Ding, ding. Put another like little kind of nugget on there, just the way it's like 55-pound halfling male, diminished eyesight. Your property now.
Thank you.
And do you need us to put him in a bag or no?
Hey, at least they still give back.
I'm trying to be like economical here. You can save the bags.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
very
be
well.
green.
Do you want to
with you?
Do you wish to keep the manacles with him?
Yes, I'll keep that.
Oh yeah.
Do I get a key? I'm assuming I get a key for this.
The manacles themselves would be an extra 10 gold pieces.
Oh. Yeah, no, I'll do away with the manacles.
He unlocks the
I've got
manacles and unlooses, takes them off of him and puts them down the ground. Very well, next
Just kind of
purchase.
go away.
And you see other people have lined up with their next purchases. And you now have in your inventory.
You say when you said paper plastic, like, do you have your slave tote with you?
Oh no.
Slave weight.
Like, did you bring your own bag?
You have with you lots of Marcus Lotso.
Oh, how the tables
The halfling.
turned.
What does that kind of seem like his name?
So, with that, I'm going to assume that you're going to head back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
God.
I didn't guess what.
So we're all back at the end.
Like before that, like I stop and I get him food and stuff.
Yeah.
And like.
And you, as you kind of walk away, you see a couple of the children the children that have been bought are being dragged off by their new owners.
Oh.
As the pack master you see comes down from the tower, the balcony that he's on one of the buildings, and
Eats the child.
the entourage that is with him is near the child. And you see he kind of puts his hand on the child's forehead. As his eyes glow, the child's eyes seem to glow as well. And you see the packmaster almost nods, and the entourage and the child start walking away with the packmaster. You make your way back to the actual Sanddragon Inn as Ben and Tordek arrive there, and the entire party has regrouped. And that's 4:00. That's the end time that I set for today. We'll pick up from wherever this is next time we meet.
We're having a smiley reunion, and then we all just like look to the guy in the corner, like who's that?
Yeah, I would like to kick down the door. I'd be like, guess what I got?
Is that something
You're holding him in your hands?
I'm gonna leave it to Byako. The last thing you want to do. What do you want to do
Last thing I want to do.
before you go on hiatus for a while?
For whatever.
Last thing I want to do.
Yeah.
Pet the cats.
Yeah. The cats pet the cat. I do want to talk to the cats though.
All right, so you walk over to them after Jiraz leaves. As you sit down and you hear, they kind of turn towards you, but in that, it's weird because when their eyes are this closed, like when they turn towards you, it just looks like a bunch of like closed eyes people facing you. Only two of them are at the table. One is black and one is kind of like checkered, or not checkered, but like calico. Yeah. As they start speaking to you in this cat purr language, and they're like, greetings, young one. How are you?
Doing fantastic.
That is copyrighted to you. How may we help you?
I'm sorry.
How may we help you?
Oh, I was just actually kind of curious what you were doing in town.
We are the Basti tribe. The four of us are representative of a group of traveling catfolk, similar to yourselves, but we have made this our home. And you may find us wandering the deserts every once in a while. Some of us like to sleep in the sun.
Understandable. You seem to do pretty well for yourself out here.
Yes, we find various variable artifacts in the sands with our curiosities. And we can bring them here and return them either to owners or we sell them on the open market. Would you like to see?
I would.
You see he reaches one of the cats, almost like you see now the more subtle movements of their hands as coins are just like flickering on and off the table and like into their sleeves, and they're just almost deftly. Let's see. What the? Okay, that's not right. You see one pulls out a small branch that looks just like a little olive branch. And they look at you as like, this is a powerful magical item. It is known as the Laurel of Command. These ones belong to an adventurer named Kada, who vanished in the Chamber of Mighty Worms. And essentially, with this weapon or with this lore, you can give one subject a single command, and it must obey you to the best of its abilities. Essentially, it will give you control over a creature's mind.
Really?
Yes. For a limited period of time.
How much would one such item cost?
30,000 gold pieces. And you can see that a lot of the gold sacks that are being dropped off of the table isn't gold. It's platinum.
Ooh.
They're making large, like, kind of black market trades. But, like, they are open traders. We also have armor up in the Dawngate district. We are here more to relax after long days of trading.
Okay. Understood. Quick question. Where would we be able to find, would there be a place to find like dragon scales or like dragon claw without having to necessarily meet a dragon?
Smart man.
We may have a supply somewhere within our stores. I can check for you.
I would really like that.
We should totally invite them.
Then we shall have this information to you shortly. And you see that one cat just starts purring as it kind of lulls off to sleep. As the one next to it is like, I am very sorry. When we check for our information, we must go to a hibernative state. I will be dealing with any transactions from this period on. So, is there anything you would like to see, per se, of scrolls or wands? You don't have any money, though. you keep seeing all this stuff that's super expensive.
Window shopping, whatever. You're like, I don't really, no. I just the information that I was asking for earlier. It's like,
You see, as you're saying this to them, one of them just kind of reaches out with his paws and just like boops you on like the head. And just sorry, you had something on your face.
was it my face?
The cat's eyes open just a little bit. Yes. And it closes again. But you are some of the smallest of our kind we have ever seen.
Aw, you're tiny.
So, is there anything else you need of us, young one?
Oh man.
Aside from that, I don't think there is anything.
If you ever need anything else, being one of our kind, please feel free to seek us out. We would love to learn of your stories and your travels. We can smell that you are not from here. You smell of semen.
Wow, Paul. Gross.
Amongst other things, probably.
Oh, go on.
And this purring-esque conversation goes on very slowly and very, very drably for a while before you realize they've all fallen asleep. As you walk away and you see that big cat that walked upstairs walks back down and like kind of gets to the table, and you hear as they all kind of stand up and walk out of the door for the nighttime.
Damn.
What?
Nothing.
All the gold on the table seems to be wiped away and cleaned off. The Zephyr guards, the Zephyr guard that's there, as they're about to walk out, runs outside, and you see 3 more Zephyr guards come in to escort them out, knowing the amount of money that they carry in and out of the town. So.
I'm just imagining like as soon as that's over.